Running your own business is awesome. It's the dream, as they say. But it's very stressful as well. Customers, they'll see the front end, the products, the signs, the slogans, the happy owner. But it's the back end of the business that really drives the ship. The inventory management, the sales conversions, order processing and shipping. The business behind the business is the key to business. And for millions of businesses around the world, that business behind the business is Shopify. Nobody does selling better than Shopify. They're home of the #1 checkout on the planet, which is why so many businesses work with them. And Shopify brings the heat with their secret weapon, Shop Pay, which boosts sales conversions by up to 50%. And that means way fewer carts are being abandoned to checkout and way more sales are going. If you want to grow your business, you better be ready to sell anywhere and everywhere your customers are. Scrolling social media, on your website, in your store, and everywhere in between. It's no secret. Businesses that want to grow with Shopify. Upgrade your business and get the same checkout Heinz and Mattel use. Sign up for your $1 per month trial period at shopify.com/RTG, all lowercase. Go to shopify.com/RTG to upgrade your selling today. Shopify.com/RTG. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Remember the Game. It is my retro gaming podcast, where every week a buddy of mine and I sit down and we geek out about the games we played back in the day. My name is Adam Blank. Thank you so much for listening to the show. And this week it is episode 290. And going back to Star Wars, we are. I know we seem to cover a different Star Wars game every couple of months these days, but I'm a noob to the Star Wars world. And now that I've started playing the games, I can't get enough. They're so good. You Star Wars fans have been spoiled as fuck. Us Simpsons fans would have killed for games like these. You guys are winning all over the place. And this week we're talking another Star Wars game with Super Star Wars for the SNES. Now, I made a joke on Twitter about a week ago that this might be a rough review because I'd been playing the game for a couple of weeks and I couldn't beat level 3. But then most of you were like, it's all good. We can't either. So that made me feel better. Holy fuck, this game is hard. I will say I've gotten to level 7 or 8 now, the bar, where you play as Chewbacca. I was playing it while we recorded this episode. I think it's the first time I've ever done that. And I got further than I'd ever gotten while we were recording this very episode. So that was kind of like history in the making. Probably the biggest thing since the moon landing, whatever, fuck. It would have been funny if I nailed the landing on that joke. Pun unintended. I hate puns. Damn it. Anyways, I'll tell you now, if you think that the difficulty of Super Star Wars is going to hurt its standing here at Remember the Game Industries, you could not be more wrong. I have such a weird obsession / borderline fetish for these tough retro games. I can't get enough of them. And Super Star Wars fits that mold perfectly. I actually went out the day after Tyler and I recorded this episode and bought a physical copy of Super Star Wars for my Super Nintendo. I like this game that much. So if you've never played it, it's a classic SNES side scroller. You're shooting and slashing swords with lightsabers, whatever, and that kind of stuff. It's based on the story of A New Hope. You play as Luke Skywalker, Chewbacca, and Han Solo. Apparently, I can't get far enough to play as Han, but apparently you do. And it's just excellent. It plays well, looks fantastic, semi-loyal to the source material. I think they expanded on a couple of things, but they had to make levels out of it. That's all well and good. I would say it's in Super Ghouls and Ghosts territory as far as the difficulty goes, and I adore it. I adore this game. As you're about to hear, it is now probably one of my favorite Super Nintendo games, and that is an incredibly hard list to crack and an incredibly prestigious list, my friends. I love the Super Nintendo, and Super Star Wars is beautiful. My buddy Tyler is my go-to Star Wars guy. He's the Chewie to my Han, if you will. He can't beat this game either, but it didn't stop him from swinging by the show and talking about how awesome this game is. And that's really all it comes to. Like, Super Star Wars is just awesome. And we'll get to that in just a minute, because speaking of being awesome, it's time for another edition of the Remember the Game infamous intro. Dun, 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 dun. And if you're new to the podcast, welcome aboard. And consider this your warning. Our intros are kind of long, but they're fun. And they're 1,000 times easier to get through than Super Star Wars is. So if you do want to skip it, go to about the 30-minute mark on your podcast device thingy right now. But don't do that. Listen to the intro. It's fun. We're talking video games and stuff. If you would buy me just a minute, though, let me get a couple of plugs out of the way and keep the bills on around here. You can find all of our merchandise at rememberthegamepodcast.com. There's lots of it. It's beautiful. It's really, really cool. Shout out to my man Joe from 4545 Creative for designing all of it. And if you don't want to do clothes, I get it. Maybe you're like, I don't want to spend whatever amount a t-shirt costs where you live. I just want to throw the change that I found under my couch at you. I'll take change. We have Patreon subscriptions that start at $3 a month, and you can get yourself an additional up to. Okay, I'm all over. Listen, I'm gonna put all my cards on the table, you guys. I am fucking exhausted. I've had a brutal week away from this show. I have not been home very much. So if I'm all over the map more so than normal this week, it's because when I have had a chance to play video games, I have played Super Star Wars, and this game has almost made me crazy. But I'm so tired right now. My lazy eye is straight, and my straight eye is going all over the map. So let's just try this again. If you don't want to buy merchandise, but you do want to support the show, consider signing up on Patreon because our subscriptions start at $3 a month, and we offer 4 additional podcasts every week, ad-free. There. Wasn't that fucking hard? I had to fucking say it every 7 days. Every Monday, Purple Monkey Dishwasher. Mark McHugh and I are talking The Simpsons. We're into season 3 now, the good episodes. Every Tuesday, I drop The Rambling Idiot, where I talk about comedy, movies, sports, TV, life, wrestling, whatever I feel like talking about that isn't video games. Every Friday, I'll release Game Patch, where I talk about all the biggest stories in modern gaming news and the new releases and all that good stuff. And every Thursday, it's Expansion Pass, and it's a different gaming show each week. There's comedy episodes, ranking episodes, modern game reviews, all kinds of stuff over there. This past week, it was Expansion Pass number 203, and as I said, I have been just swamped away from this microphone over the last week. So I kind of took the week off and let the community do most of the heavy lifting. It was Ask Adam Anything, Volume 5. We talked video games, wrestling, sports, comedy, the business of podcasting, food, all kinds of stuff. And as is becoming tradition, here is a sneak peek of last week's episode of Expansion Pass, Ask Adam Anything. My good buddy Brian says, another AAA episode. You do a lot of self-deprecating humor and talk about the low quality of the sound of the podcast in general. How do you take it if someone else gives negative feedback? If it's like your show sucks and you ramble too much, I genuinely laugh at you. I genuinely laugh and don't give a flying fuck. When it's constructive criticism, I'll listen to it. When it's the only criticism that bothers me a little bit are when people write in and they're like genuine listeners and fans of the show, and they're like, hey, you really fucked up on this game. I should come on and fix it for you. I'll tell you right now, if you've ever sent me one of those, not only have you not gotten a response, but I've rolled my eyes at you. And I don't care if that hurts anyone's feelings. If you message me and tell me I fucked up in my job and you need to come on the show and teach me how to do it properly, you can get bent. I don't give a fuck what you think. Those are the comments that get to me a little bit, because I'm like, who the fuck are you? Like, I can't imagine going out for dinner and then being like, you know what? This steak wasn't seasoned properly. I'll come back there next time and I'll teach you how to season your steak. Like, fuck off. That's now available in our archives. And this week for Expansion Pass number 204, I thought we'd talk about video game TV shows. Halo Season 2 is out now. The Fallout TV show is right around the corner. I'm really looking forward to that one. So I figured we could talk about some of the gaming franchises that deserve the TV show treatment. At this point, I think it's safe to say every video game ever made is eventually going to get a TV show or a movie. So let's talk about a few that deserve TV shows that haven't gotten them yet. So that's what we'll do on tomorrow's episode of Expansion Pass. So again, subscriptions start at $3 a month. You get new shows every week, instant access to a absolute treasure trove of podcasts, assuming you can stand my voice, all ad-free. There are literally hundreds of shows waiting for you the second you sign up. Not only all that, you get access to the Remember the Game Discord. You get a chance to vote in our Patreon polls each month. You get the ability to submit comments to be read on our shows. You get DM with me. You get discounts on merchandise. And you even get a shout-out and get to hear me mispronounce your name like I'm about to do to these people. A huge thank you to our newest Patreons, Just Saps, Jesterfield, CJ, Stephen Jeffrey, Devin Malden, Liam Frazier, Magical Spider Nipples, Supersonic 96, TCG Elijah, and Jape. I don't feel like I fucked any of those up. Maybe Steven. Maybe that was Stefan. I might have fucked that one. You know what? I probably did, just to ruin a potential perfect batch of shoutouts. Regardless, thank you all so much for the support and welcome to Remember the Game Industries. You can find all that at patreon.com/rememberthegame. We donate 5% of our Patreon income to charity, and if you sign up for an annual subscription, you will save your 12th month's fees. And then finally, you can find me over on Twitch. I haven't been over there much over the last week, but I'm going to get back on there going into this weekend. Twitch.tv/rememberthegame. Come by and say hi, and we play video games, and it's lots of fun. And it's free. So it's good shit. All right? That's enough blowing myself. Let's blow some of you by blowing in some cartridges. It is our opening segment here on the show. I read a few comments and questions from our Patriots, usually gaming related, but not always. And we call this segment Blowing in the Cartridge.
He blows all right. He blows big time.
That's it, honey. Get into the spirit.
Let's blow. Our first blower this week is guy who's never been on double secret probation. Well, before I even get to your question, let me just say you are now officially on double secret probation. I just want you to feel like you're part of the team, so enjoy your probation. But that guy says, Adam, if you could create an original game completely of your own design, what would it look like? No budget restrictions or anything. Just what do you wish you could create? You know, I get asked that a lot. Like, if I was creating a Remember the Game video game, what would it be like? What would it look like? That kind of stuff. And, like, there's so many different ideas. But if you're just giving me a blank check and saying, Adam, here's a studio, here's some money, create a video game, I honestly think it would be a wrestling game of some kind. I would really like to create... Like when AEW Fight Forever came out last year, they were hyping up that it was going to be like the spiritual successor to the glorious Nintendo 64 wrestling games. And I feel like there was definitely some of the 64 DNA in there, but I didn't think the game could hold a torch to like WCW NWO Revenge or WWF No Mercy and stuff. And everybody knows how much I love pro wrestling games. I would create my own pro wrestling game, and it would follow in the footsteps of that Nintendo 64 Holy Quartet. And you know what? Just because you said I could do anything I want, I am going to, you know what? I'm going to make the base game. You know what? No, I'm going to make it a Simpsons wrestling game. Because there is a Simpsons wrestling game, and apparently it's absolutely horrendous. I've never played it. But I'm going to make a new N64-inspired Nintendo or pro wrestling game based on The Simpsons with Create a Wrestler where you can create your own Simpsons characters. And you're going to feud with Shelbyville and everything, and it'll be fucking sick, and it'll sell 1 trillion copies, and then I'll use that money to buy The Simpsons. And then from there, I'll use that money to buy WWE in it. Basically, I'm going to take over the world because of this video game. That's the game that I would make. I really would love to be able to get my fingers into making a pro wrestling game. I really would think that. I do think that'd be a lot of fun. Where's my burrito? Says, what's up, Adam? I've asked this question not once, not twice, but thrice. I haven't really, just wanted to use that reference. But I'm sure it wasn't just me. I had demos I played when I was a kid that I absolutely loved playing, and I would play them over and over and over, but never actually bought the game, and I have no idea why. I have a few that came to mind for me were Parappa the Rapper, Muppet Madness, Future Cop, and Bomberman. I could go on and on. What demos come to mind from your childhood that you were obsessed with but never actually bought the full game of? You know, the only demos that I can think of, because by the time, like in the NES, Super Nintendo, Genesis, like in that era, we didn't really get a lot of demos. And by the time demos became more mainstream, I was fortunate enough to be a little bit older and I could just buy games I wanted. So if I tried a demo and I liked it, I could just go out and buy the game. So there wasn't very many. But I remember, and I've told this story before, when I bought my PlayStation 1, I didn't have any money left to buy a game with it, so all I got was I had a demo. It was one of those jam-pack discs that came in the magazines, and I vividly remember it had a level from Medieval, which I never bought. I played it years ago for this podcast. I emulated it, but I never bought it, and I really liked it. It had a level from Medieval. It had... Oh my God, it had a level from Tony Hawk Pro Skater 2 that I played so much. I'm kind of breaking the rules because I did eventually go out and buy Tony Hawk Pro Skater 2, but I played that fucking demo. It was one level, and I played it over and over and over. And then it had, I don't remember what game it was. I don't think it was Medieval, but it had a demo for this game where you played as it was like you were Death or you controlled some character like Death. And you had to go around and it was collecting things. And I could see it in my head and I don't know what game it was. Someone's going to tell me. And I played that demo like crazy too. And then I never went out and bought it. So I would say those are probably the big ones. And then actually on PC, we used to get we had the Doom demo and stuff like that where you could play 2 levels and then buy the full game. And I don't remember where my parents ended up getting the full games. Someone copied them for them and they got them or something. But we had tons of those demos. I played a lot of computer demos, but mostly it was that PS1 Jam Pack disc. And that Tony Hawk, buddy, that fucking Tony Hawk level. Oh my God. I knew every pixel of that Tony Hawk demo. I played it so much. Good times. Good times. Nostalgia says, hey, Adam, I looked up some of your old stand-up comedy on YouTube because I was curious and I laughed pretty hard. The part where you went golfing in flip-flops and rented clubs and some old dude behind you was saying, I can't believe they had retals on this course. Is there anywhere else I could find some recordings of your sets? YouTube only has like 2 that I could find. Anyways, take care. Well, thank you, Nostalgia. I get asked this a lot once in a while. I address it here on the show just because it's probably the question I get the most. You say you're a comedian. Where the fuck can we see your comedy? I don't have very much of it online. I don't know. I do mostly crowd work, and I don't really like uploading my crowd work to the internet, so I don't have very much of it online. But if you go to my link tree, which you can find a link for in like my Twitter and Instagram and at rememberthegame.com, rememberthegamepodcast.com and all that, in my link tree, there is a link to my Spotify. And on Spotify, not the Remember the Game Spotify, but my personal Spotify, I think there's 6 of my comedy clips that I've recorded with Just for Laughs over the years. And those are available over there if you want to check those out. So I appreciate that I get asked so often where you can see my stand-up. The answer is I really just don't have very much of it online. It sucks. There's not very much of it online. Magical Spider Nipples says, so I've heard you've somewhat recently gotten into the Star Wars movies and games and have watched nearly all of them. I've been a huge Star Wars fanboy ever since I was a wee lad, and no matter what I do, I can't convince my fiance to watch them with me. She remains actively against anything Star Wars. What would your attempt be at trying to coerce someone into enjoying the franchise with you and showing them all it has to offer, or should I just accept my fate and stay solo dolo in all my future Star Wars ventures? Well, I will say that how I actually finally got into watching Star Wars was the pandemic. When we weren't allowed to go outside or do anything, they got added to Disney Plus, and I was like, you know what? I'm finally going to sit down and watch these fucking movies. And then for the most part, minus a couple, for the most part, I just kind of fell in love with the franchise. I'm still a noob. I still have a lot to learn, but I really got into it. So, obviously you got to start her with A New Hope. See, I remember somebody telling me not to watch them in release order, but watch them in chronological order. So start with The Phantom Menace. And I think that's a horrible idea. I think you need to watch them in the order they came out with. Plus, A New Hope is so much better than Phantom Menace. And if she can't get into A New Hope, then it's probably there is no hope. But also, dude, like if she can't get into it, just enjoy having it to yourself. I have been trying to get Shaylee into The Simpsons for 15 years, and I have finally just accepted it is never going to happen. And so I'm like, you know what? I don't want to force somebody to enjoy this thing that I love so much. I'm just going to keep it to myself. It's my own little secret. So I would ask her to try watching A New Hope, and if she can't get into it, then just enjoy it on your own. That would be my piece of advice. Did you not start? Oh, fuck, Phantom Man. Anyways, AB Killen says, Dear Adam, I think I'm mostly caught up on some of the isms around here. I recently heard on an older Remember the Game where you decided to go with keep the bills on. Most of us know why we're hot dogs. We know you refer to the UK as a city on purpose for laughs. But why do you get called Andy so much? Are there any other not so obvious isms worth sharing? There's so many. If you're wondering why I answer this every couple of months too, because I get asked all the time. You're all hot dogs because I was mad at a video game and I called somebody a hot dog over it. And that's a very short version of it. I call the city of Great Britain a city just to jerk with somebody for the laughs. Keep the bills on. I just couldn't speak and decided to roll with it. The reason I get called Andy, a couple of years ago, somebody found an article where someone had written about 5 video game podcasts that they think everyone needs to listen to. And Remember the Game made the list. So if you're hearing this, thank you so much for putting me on the list. But then at the end of the episode, they called me Andy instead of Adam. Or at the end of the article, they called me Andy instead of Adam. And so it just kind of stuck. So then I became Andy to a lot of. So that's why I get called it. I don't even think it's a mean thing. Maybe it is, but I don't think it is. Matt B says, hey, Adam, I was playing Mario Kart with my 4-year-old daughter and was just thinking how great the smart steering and auto accelerate assists are for someone her age. It actually makes the game playable for her, and because of that, she really enjoys it, especially all the different tracks. Do you think Nintendo will keep those assists or even change and improve them in whatever the next Mario Kart is? Love listening. Keep up the great work. Thank you, Matt. I do think that they'll keep the smart steering, the auto accelerating and stuff in the next game, as they should. For people that need it for for a little kiddo that wants to play with you, Mario Kart can be a pretty vicious game, And it's nice that they throw an assist out to people that need it. And frankly, I think they're there for everybody that should use them, with the exception of people in this fucking community that log into the annual or the weekly community Mario Kart nights and then use goddamn smart steering and auto accelerate to cheat, and then laugh because they didn't finish in last because the goddamn computer did all the work for them. You fucking know who you are. But yes, for a 4-year-old daughter, I think those are great, and I do think Nintendo will keep them in. Absolutely. JB Sharp says, hey, Blank, do you think certain games and franchises are best served on a specific controller? For me, the Tony Hawk games come to mind. With how the games control, I truly believe the only way to get the best experience is to play them on a PlayStation controller. How anyone played one of those games with that fucking Nintendo 64 controller is beyond me. Oh, yeah. Like, I admittedly can't think of too many off the top of my head, games that I think are best served on specific controllers, but I can absolutely get on board with that. It's funny because games I play on the Nintendo 64, like the wrestling ones, like Mario 64, like Ocarina of Time, I actually find them hard to, like when they first got released on Switch Online, I had a very difficult time playing them with my Switch. Like I needed a Nintendo 64 controller to play them. And then with 3D All-Stars, they remapped the 64 controls and made it better. But I have a hard time playing 64 games without a 64 controller. I have a hard time playing anything that had an option that wasn't the 64 controller with the 64 controller. And I agree with you, dude. How anybody played Tony Hawk Pro Skater with a Nintendo 64 controller, I will never fucking know. That makes no sense to me whatsoever. But that's the only system I can really think of where I'm like, because that controller is just so fucking obtuse. The games designed for it need it, and the games that aren't designed for it want nothing to fucking do with it. Tony Hawk, when I was reading your question, Tony Hawk was the first one that came to mind for me too. It feels so good with a PS1 controller. Like how with that? Makes no sense. Anyway, then finally, before we move on, it's letter time. It's letter time. Subpar Nova says, thinking back to one of your recent episodes, Mario the Lost Levels, I was thinking how to make the game even harder. I think with the inclusion of collision detection, it would have made the game damn near impossible, as you wouldn't be able to run through enemies after getting hit. My question to you is, if you had the ability to make any game in history harder, what game would it be, and how would you make it more challenging for the players? The 3 entered mind to me. One is Super Mario World, because I've just played it so many times that I find it easy. I don't know how I would change it. I don't know, maybe just more enemies or something. But outside of a few world levels near the end, like in the special world and stuff, I find Super Mario World very easy. Wrestling games. Dude, I'm playing WWE 2K24 right now, and it's great. But Legend is not difficult enough. Once you've played those games and you know all the reversal timing and stuff, it's very rare that the computer beats me. So they need like Super Legend or something, Ultra Legend, Cena mode, something like that to make them even harder. And then Kirby games. I thought Kirby and the Forgotten Land was awesome. Best Kirby game since the Super Nintendo era. But too many Kirby games are like you sleepwalk through them. And so they need a harder. I understand that they're for children, a lot of them, and they're designed for a less skilled demographic. But I can't get on board with not having a difficult setting, like a hard setting, just for people like me that want them. Yoshi's Crafted World was beautiful, but I couldn't play it because it was so boring. It was so easy. So I wish those games had one more difficulty. Just make like a grown-up difficulty. Why not? I don't get it. Anyway. That's it. Thank you so much for all your submissions, everybody, as always. Now, before we get into the official game show of Remember the Game Industries, it is time to check in with our partners over at Ourcade. If you don't know, Ourcade is this sweet new browser arcade where you can compete in classic games and win cash prizes by doing so. I have some leaderboard updates to hit you with this week and a new cheat code as well that will get you some free credits and a shot at those Remember the Game leaderboards. Before we get to that, a couple of quick Ourcade updates. The boys are constantly updating the site, polishing, all that good stuff. They wanted me to let you know that a replay button has been added to Ye Old Pong, which is superb because I love Ye Old Pong. If you have not played it yet, you really need to try it. It's like, it controls like Flappy Bird. You just tap the screen to make this little onion bounce up and down, but then it turns into Pong, and there's these two knights on either side of the screen walking back and forth with shields, and you need to bounce the onion off one shield and then back and over to the other one, and it's so easy to learn, and I get so hooked on that game. Ye Old Pong is the best. So they've added a replay button to that, which is good stuff, and they also wanted me to let you know that they're plugging away at their next game, Claim Invaders, right now, and that is coming soon. I'm stoked for that. Can't wait. The Remember the Game leaderboards. If you're wondering, you get on these by being good at these games and by entering the weekly cheat codes, which I will be providing you with shortly. For Ye Old Pong, shout out to our third place finishers. It was a tie. Smituation and Cephoid tied with 39 points. In second place, it was another tie. Kevin and D-Knight32X tied with 42 points. And in first place at Ye Old Pong and the Remember the Game leaderboards, Mixer Tuna, 60 points. That's it, 60 points. Arcade said you're not just topping the Remember the Game leaderboards, but Mixer Tuna, you have the highest global score at Ye Old Pong, and you are the #1 rated player in the game right now. So respect. You are like the Tiger Woods from his prime. Like, oh God, I miss prime Tiger Woods of Ye Old Pong. So congratulations and way to do Remember the Game proud, Mixer Tuna. And then for Cade Runner, unfortunately, I was the leader last week and I have been dethroned. Third place on our leaderboards is Cephoid with 9,475 points. Our Cade pointed out that Cephoid, you made the top 3 for both games on our leaderboard, so well done. Now, at second place, I Suck at Games with 12,608 points. You don't suck at games. And in first place is Floppy Llama with 12,893 points. That's only like a 290-point difference from first to second. Cade said that I Suck at Games and Floppy Llama are actually 4th and 5th worldwide at Cade Runner right now. So that's just neck and neck. I feel like a hot dog grudge match on pay-per-view seems inevitable at this point. I love seeing Remember the Game hovering at the top of the leaderboards for both Cade Runner and Ye Old Pong. You guys are doing us proud. Well done. This week's cheat code, if you want to play, we're going to the world of Star Fox. It is a 6-letter word, and it is based on a certain toad who slips a lot. He's very slippy. Slippy. 6 words. 6-letter word, excuse me. Slippy is your, that was supposed to be a hint and I just gave it away. Slippy is your cheat code this week. Get over there. You go to ourcade.io, go to the reset option, and then you'll find the code Genie, put it in there. You will get some free credits and you will take a run at Gaming Immortality with the Remember the Game leaderboards, because I will be giving shout outs to the leaders on next week's show. And finally, Ourcade wants to hear from you. They're new. They need feedback. So use the feedback link at ourcade.io or check out the handy form link in the description of this podcast and let them know what you think of their site, okay? Go to ourcade.io today to compete totally free for cash prizes and use this week's cheat code to get even more credits and access to the Remember the Game leaderboards. That's ourcade.io. ourkade.io. Link in the description of this podcast. So glad to be working with those guys. I love playing those games. Ourcade is awesome. All right, let's get to our Smash Hit segment, the official game show of Remember the Game Industries. It is Play One, Remake One, Erase One. And a huge thank you to Classic Concentration. That's what it is. I was like, Concentration Classic. Classic Concentration from the NES for unknowingly providing us with the theme music for the show. The rules are simple. Every week I give our listeners 3 retro video games. They can play one as it was released, remake one as a modern game. The third is erased from time forever. And as always, there are no wrong answers, but there is a right one. We'll get there in just a minute. This week we're talking the damned near impossible Super Star Wars. So I went with 3 more damned near impossible SNES games. Super Ghouls and Ghosts, Battletoads and Battlemaniacs, and The Lion King. And this one was close, but with 29% of the vote, play Super Ghouls and Ghosts, remake Battletoads, and erase The Lion King. Came out on top. So let's see what a few of you had to say here. Then I'll tell you what the right answer was. E. Steen said Super Ghouls and Ghosts is pretty great as it is, and it was a great successor to the NES version. Give Battletoads a full-on remake and make it beautiful, and then erase The Lion King. It's a straight-up bad game with terrible controls. It looked and sounded pretty for its time, but no one is going to miss this mess. I was shocked that the amount of hate The Lion King got, actually. And Steen's not the only one. I was shocked by that. Toasted Elf said it's between Lion King and Battletoads to remake. The Lion King movie remake was dog ass, so I can't trust them. I'm going to play The Lion King, give me a brand spanking new Battletoads, and erased Ghouls and Ghosts. Erasing Ghouls and Ghosts breaks my heart, but I get it. I might do the same. But you'll hear why in a minute. James Hanselik said, I'll play Ghouls and Ghosts because it's had a few remakes already, and it's a tough but fair game. That's true. I'd remake Battletoads and Battle Maniacs because outside of the Switch Online release, it's never gotten a proper facelift. I'm not only erasing The Lion King, I'm cursing its entire existence. Many of us 90s kids were completely mollywopped by this demon spawn of a game that no doubt ruined countless weekends. It comes at you with a nice, colorful presentation, nice graphics, and upbeat music. Then you reach level 2, those stupid fucking giraffes. First of all, if you've beaten that game and you're not a neurosurgeon, I'm sorry to tell you that you may have missed your calling in life. The sheer precision needed to make those jumps is otherworldly. I loved the movie as a kid, but fuck that game and fuck Disney for allowing it to exist. Took 290 episodes to drop a fuck Disney on our show. That's good stuff. And Patty O'Brien said, play Ghouls and Ghosts because it plays so damn well. It's lovely. Remake The Lion King. I almost beat this one as a wee lad, and there's some genuinely good gameplay here. The second level is brutally unfair, though. Make it fair and you'll be fine. And then erase Battletoads. Never cared for this franchise. Feckin' Battletoads. No, fucking Patty O'Brien. You don't show... There's no shitting on the Battletoads in my world. No way. I'm going with 17% of you. This was a tough one. I'm going with 17% of you. The same order that Wolf Slasher went with, who said I would remake The Lion King and make it more like the Lion King part of Kingdom Hearts. Now that the whole Kingdom Hearts series is on Switch, and you mentioned that was the only way Kingdom Hearts would have a chance of you playing it, there's now a chance you'll find out what I'm talking about. The complete series package is on sale now for $50. Hint, hint. I'm just gonna put it out there right now. It's not gonna happen. I appreciate it, but no. Wolf Slasher says I would play Battletoads because it's fine the way it is, and I would erase Ghouls and Ghosts because the game is too hard and I lack the patience to play it long enough to get very far. It is very hard. I'll give you that. Same order, different reason. I'm going to play Battletoads and Battle Maniacs because I just fucking love that game. I love that game. I'm going to remake The Lion King, and I'm going to add an easy mode so kids and I could play it. And I'm going to erase Super Ghouls and Ghosts. And I hate to do this, but I've played that game so much, and I don't know if I can ever fall down that rabbit hole again. And I have the new one to go back to if I want to play more of it. I can get so close to beating that game on the second run, and I can't do it, and I've given up. But I hate to erase it. It pains my heart. All right, that's it, everybody. Thanks so much for playing along. What have I been up to over the last 7 days? Honestly, I haven't played very much. When I have time, I've been playing the Ballot Show Poker Roguelike. It's awesome. Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, WWE 2K24, and Super Star Wars. But truth be told, I've barely touched anything this week. So next week, that is what I'll be playing. All right, let's pause here. We'll let a sponsor come in and peddle their wares and help us keep the bills on. And then it's right into Super Star Wars talk for the next 90 minutes or so. Okay, we'll be right back after, 60 minutes. Whatever the fuck. We'll be right back after this. We've had some great partners over the years here at Remember the Game, but I don't know if any of them have hit home for me quite like Hometown Hero does. No pun intended. Don't start. It's a transparent, honest cannabis company that helps people and gives back to those that have served their country at the same time. I mean, come on. As soon as I read about these guys, I knew I wanted to work with them. Hometown Hero is a cannabis company out of Austin, Texas, and they were founded back in 2015 by a U.S. veteran. They have two goals: create premium hemp products that can help everyone, and to support veterans by donating a portion of those profits to organizations set up to take care of those who have served. Hometown Hero products are of the highest quality, and everything they offer is made right there in the U.S. of A. Gummies, caramels, chocolates, drink mix. There's something for everyone. And what's more, their hemp is grown locally in Texas, which is something they should and do take a lot of pride in. And they offer certificates of analysis for everything they sell because they want to be clear that their products are as advertised, both in terms of potency and ingredients. No contaminants, you get what you pay for. Just how they conduct business is enough to get my good eyes' attention. But when you circle back to the fact that the company was founded by a veteran and they put such heavy emphasis on supporting veterans, this isn't just lip service. I'm not reading a script I was given here. I'm proud to have Hometown Hero associated with Remember the Game. Reclaim your evening. Visit hometownhero.com and use code RTG to take 20% off your first purchase. That's hometownhero.com, code RTG for 20% off your first purchase. This is an ad by BetterHelp. A band once said, "Work sucks, I know." And I think most people agree with them. Workplace stress is now one of the top causes of declining mental health, with 61% of the global workforce experiencing higher than normal levels of stress from their jobs. And while walking away from your job might not be an option, taking a little time every day to focus on yourself and your mental health can make a huge difference. I know in the summer I try to get outside every day, get a little bit of sun, and just enjoy the outdoors. It really helps. at least until my allergies attack, and then it's ugly. It's important to take steps to combat work stress, and therapy can be a huge one. It's not just for overcoming trauma. Therapy can help you define work goals, set some work boundaries, develop coping skills. It's like a cheat code for life. And if you're thinking, man, I'm too busy for therapy, well, look into BetterHelp. They make therapy as convenient as possible. You can meet with one of their over 30,000 therapists online and on your schedule, just like over 5 million people around the world already have done. As the largest online therapy provider in the world, BetterHelp can provide access to mental health professionals with a diverse variety of expertise. Unwind from work with BetterHelp. Our listeners get 10% off their first month at BetterHelp.com/rememberthegame. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/rememberthegame. All right, let's get into Super Star Wars talk. I know that's why you're here. As always, I like to let our Patreons sound off before my guest and I hog the microphone. So we have some of your comments on this game to share right now. Rowdy Ryan wrote in and said, I fucking love this game. This would comfortably be in my top 5 games that remind me of my childhood. Great fun game, but my word, the last stage is crazy hard. The other 2 games in this series are even better. Can't wait till they get episodes. And I promise you they will, my friend. I promise you. The last stage is crazy hard. The whole fucking game is crazy hard. It's wild. Vader Maximus said it looks and sounds amazing, but it can fuck right off if it thinks I have the patience to play it. That is tough but fair. Tough but fair. Too old for hard mode said, that seems like a fitting handle for this episode. Too old for hard mode said, I got an SNES after the Nintendo 64 came out because it was cheap and I hadn't played video games for a few years. This game is solely responsible for my introduction to looking up cheat codes on the internet, and I feel absolutely no shame in saying that. I traditionally shame cheat coders, but this game, that's I can turn my good eye to using cheat codes in this game. Sir Jeff said, I loved this game as a kid. I remember always getting stuck on the Speed Racer part. I was able to get past it once, then I immediately died on the next level. Several fond memories of playing this after school and on weekends. Dude, those speed levels fuck me up too. I agree. And Chaps My Ass said, this game was definitely a staple of my childhood. Hard as fuck, though. Platforming the outside of that Sandcrawler with all the blind jumps is brutal, and where my ass got chapped for the first time. Then if you have the patience to make it past that, the inside will definitely fuck you with the green laser walls and the blind fall into the sand that kills you instantly. Dude, I'm going to rant about that in 2 seconds, Chaps. I fucking hate the inside of that Sandcrawler. Chaps My Ass continues. After that, I feel like the game gets a bit easier onto the last level with the trench where you somehow have to know what to press to shoot your torpedoes into the hole. All in all, great game, and the games only get better from here. I agree with almost everything you just said. Boy, this game's tough, but I can't stop playing it, and you're about to listen to me play it while I talk about it with Tyler. I'm going to cue up some music. And when it stops, Tyler and I are going back to November 1st of 1992 and talking Super Star Wars on the SNES. Enjoy the podcast, everybody. Let's go. All right, so joining me via the blank phone this week is a regular here on RTG. One of the guests that you get requested. You get requested. It's fucking weird. You're like I'm like a music DJ, and people call in and request that I play Tyler. You are a requested
play
guest.
Tyler.
Play some Tyler. So Tyler, how are you? First of all, how's life?
Busy. I got a baby on the way, got cast in a movie, and am working my regular job. So, and have a farm.
I didn't know you had another kiddo. Congratulations. I didn't know that. What the fuck?
Oh, thank you. Yeah, Britt's 8 months pregnant. Jeez.
How the fuck did I not know this? What the fuck?
I don't know.
Jesus Christ.
Do you remember last summer when I broke my foot?
Mm-hmm.
That was we hobbled our way over and made a baby.
I thought you were going to say you broke your foot in the process of making the baby, and I was like, what the fuck were you doing?
It was like 2 days after I broke my foot.
Okay. Well, what else are you gonna do? You can't move around, so just lay there and good for you. Wow, yeah. Fucking A, you won. Congratulations. That's exciting. Wow.
Yay.
Well, Jesus Christ. Well, we're talking Super Star Wars, and I was excited to talk about it. It doesn't seem that fucking exciting now. But
it's super exciting.
Is it?
Super Star Wars. Super exciting.
I get it. Okay, first of all, you have become the guest for Star Wars games. Some of my guests just seem to be like, profiled, whether for certain genres or franchises or systems or what have you. And I'm not quite sure how it happened. Maybe it's because you're just the nerdiest of all the nerds, but you seem to be the Star Wars guy now. This one, I've been playing it on my Super Nintendo Classic now for the last like week and a half, and it's great. I want to make sure I start this off by saying this game is awesome. I'm going to buy a physical copy of it for my Super Nintendo. This game is dope. But
and the next two, like all three of them are.
I hear they're all great. I got to get them all. Yeah, I'm a fan now. I'm into this. But holy fuck, buddy, this is. I don't know if this is the hardest Super Nintendo game that I've played. Battletoads and Battle Maniacs is up there, and Super Ghouls and Ghosts is up there. But this is definitely a contender. This game is fucked, buddy. Holy
I only ever played it on easy. I saw you were, I think it was a reel on Instagram. You said you were gonna try playing it on normal. I was like, oh,
yeah,
good luck.
yeah. Oh my god. So on normal, it's funny because I tweeted out that we were covering this game this week, and I said, I don't know how good a review it's gonna be because I can't get through the third level. And a vast majority of the comments were like, I think that's as far as the game goes. They're like, that's as far as I've ever gotten to. And I was like, oh, okay, that makes me feel a little bit better. On normal, that is as far as I can get. On easy, I've gotten to level 7 of 14, which is the second land speeder level. Buddy, what the I've always wondered why these games. I genuinely with the NES, I feel like some games are NES tough just because developers didn't really know, like they were still kind of not sure what they were doing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
With a game like this, I'm like, no, developers know how to make games at this point. I think they made this hard so all the kids that bought it and rented it couldn't beat it in a weekend. That's what I think. Because holy fuck, dude. Are the other two just as hard?
Yeah. Scale, it's the same difficulty, I'd say.
What the fuck? Holy Jesus. All right, well, we're going to get into this thing and talk about how fucking hard this game is. Dude, before we start, I just wanted to ask you, as you and I are recording this, is it's Stone Cold Steve Austin Day. It's March 16th, 3/16. Have you played the new Battlefront collection yet?
The new old Battlefront?
Yeah, like
collection?
the re-release of the two Battlefront games?
I haven't played it yet, but I am getting it and going to be jamming out because I played those when they first came out and they were masterpieces.
Yeah, so I haven't played the Battlefronts yet. I keep hearing how awesome they are, but I was just curious because apparently this this collection is fucked. Like all the reviews, everything I'm seeing online, everyone's like, this is a gong show of a collect. So I was just curious if you had played it and if it was as bad as I've seen some people say, because everyone was super excited about it. So I hope it doesn't suck.
Oh no, that breaks
just
my
do
heart
your
a little
homework
bit.
first. Yeah, do your homework first.
Because I remember like there was Battlefront 1 and 2 in like 2002 and 3 or something like that, right?
Right. Yeah, like PS2 era, right?
Right. And one of the nice things about like I think it was Battlefront 1, they'd have like space combat where you'd have these two, almost like the Clone Wars or whatever, like these two Star Destroyers side by side. And you'd hop in like TIE fighters and A-Wings and X-Wings and shit like that and fly at each other and have this big space battle. But one of the things you could do is like fly your ship, your piloted little, fighter ship into the destroyers and then have like a first person shooter experience inside the enemy's like flagship and try and blow up their core. It was so good. Like, the Battlefront games are very similar to the Battlefield games.
Okay.
And it was like on a whole new scale. It was so fucking good.
Yeah,
good. And if the re-releases are trash, that breaks my heart.
Yeah, apparently I'm not saying not to buy them. That's what I've seen online, but it could just be, in classic 2020s gaming, they were released broken and they'll be patched up later. You know what I mean? Like it could very well be that, but
I'm hoping
not that that's excusable. But
I hope it's not people playing it and being like, how come there's no, slide cancel or, modern mechanics? Because it's like they won't have any of that. It'll be like, stand up, run and gun. They might not even have a crouch. I don't remember if there was a crouch in that game.
Right.
So little things like that might be, dated, causing bad reviews. But
yeah. Well, I will say, like, I'm super stoked to eventually try them. Like, even if it's just the OG versions, just because everyone keeps singing their praises.
They were very fun.
I have yet to, and I'm jinxing myself here. I have yet to play a Star Wars game. I know we've covered a lot of Star Wars games on this show lately, like in the last couple of years. I'm still a Star Wars noob. It was the pandemic when I watched Star Wars, and I'm like, these games are awesome. I have yet to play a bad one. You lifelong Star Wars fans have been spoiled as fuck video game wise. Spoiled as fuck.
Oh,
This is
absolutely.
incredible.
And like on your recommendation, I've been playing Fallen Order, and it is so good. Like,
Right?
man,
It's fucking sick, man. Oh, so good.
yeah, the Star Wars
Um,
IP, like there's a lot of memes out there of like milked to death cow, and
yeah, yeah.
I don't care. That meme is wrong. There's
No,
still so
keep
much this franchise can give,
yeah,
from
dude, keep
KOTOR to Star Wars Rebels to Ahsoka to every freaking game there is has been amazing.
yeah, keep them coming. So just okay, so before we get into Super Star Wars, which I don't know if I've ever done this on the podcast. I am literally playing it while we're talking. Like while we're talking, I'm playing it right now. Uh
This explains why you can't beat the game.
yeah, no shit, yeah. What is your favorite? I'm just curious, like because I still of all the Star Wars games that I've played, I think KOTOR is still my favorite. Do you have a favorite? I'm putting you on the spot, but I'm just curious.
Um, it depends because a bunch of the games are different like styles of games, right?
Oh
Like I
yeah.
love the Battlefront games
Right.
for first person shooter, but I think Force Unleashed was my favorite. I really
Okay.
liked the actor in it. I love the story, being Darth Vader's apprentice, and like it's a really compelling story. I'm like also Jedi Knight 2 or whatever, Jedi Academy. Like that one for
That,
multiplayer was unparalleled. That was the first time lightsaber battles felt cool. So,
right. And we and
like
that
I
we
can't.
covered that one. We covered that one.
Yes, yes,
Yeah.
absolutely. So I like
Yeah,
it's
that's
a
a good
toss
game.
up between like those three,
Okay. All right.
and maybe Fallen Order because like it is fantastic. It might
Yeah.
dethrone Force Unleashed. I just have very fond memories of Force Unleashed. So
Sure. And nostalgia is a powerful drug, my friend. I'll say
yeah.
like I'm sitting here playing Super Star Wars right now on my Super Nintendo Classic, and like do I ever wish that I had gotten into this franchise as a child? Because this would be in my top 10 favorite Super Nintendo games if I had
Oh
been
yeah.
into this franchise as a kid. I don't know if the other two are better. I will try them eventually. This is the only one I've played, and this one is fucking it's incredible, but it's just all right. Well, we'll get into it. So like I imagine most people listening to this are at least semi familiar with Star Wars. I feel like I was the last one on the planet to watch them. Um, basically, this one is set in the first movie,
Yeah.
A New Hope, and I love that right out of the gate, it even kicks off with like the exact like title screen from the movie, but like on the Super Nintendo, and it looks pretty good. Like it actually doesn't look bad either. It's fucking pretty cool.
Yeah.
Like I wish Ghostbusters had gotten this much love when I was a kid. You said you Star Wars fans were spoiled. This is great.
Man, Ghostbusters had some good games.
No, it has one good game. And it is the most modern one. We never even got a Super Nintendo game because the fucking NES ones were so bad that they were like, no, we're
Yeah,
not
I
doing this.
I think there was
Fuck.
this Ghostbusters 2 on the NES where you'd shoot the slime at shit. It was
Yeah,
funny.
it was awful. The Ghostbusters on Genesis is actually really good. Genesis fans got one, but Super
Nice.
Nintendo kids got fucked. So okay, so yeah, this one's based on the first movie, and right out of the gate, like you get the initial title screen, where the text is floating by and all that kind of stuff, and then the game just starts in level 1, and you're Luke, and you're in the desert, and you're not a Jedi yet or anything. You just have your blaster, and you're just basically running through the desert shooting scorpions and birds or
Yeah,
something. I don't know what the fuck they are.
hunting for womp rats.
Yeah. And I gotta say, dude, the first thing that jumped out at me playing this game was, I'm not a big graphics guy. This game looks really good. Like, even as
Yeah,
far as like the little things like Luke's hair kind of flowing and
yeah,
stuff
yeah,
like
yeah.
that. Like the backgrounds are bright, it's colorful, it really sharp looking games. And I sorry, I know I'm talking a lot. I have been playing this game like basically nonstop for a week getting ready for this. I feel like I'm blue balled here and I'm ready to fucking explode. That's a horrible analogy, but horrible analogy. I apologize. Horrible. I just like it looks great, and the thing about it is like and I feel like I've said this in other Star Wars episodes. They could mail in a Star Wars game and still sell a ton because of that name on the cover.
Yeah,
This is like, dude, this is better than a lot. This is genuinely, I say, probably in the top 25 Super Nintendo games I've ever played. It's a really good
oh,
game.
wow. Yeah.
It looks awesome, plays pretty good. The graphics have just really stuck with me because I'm looking at it right now and I'm like, dude, this is I think it looks kind of like a Genesis game, which I mean is a compliment because I love the way Genesis games look.
Yeah, didn't Genesis have more processing power
It
a
had
little bit?
blast processing.
That's why.
I don't know what the fuck that is, but it had
Yeah,
blast processing.
different chip then,
Yeah, I
something
don't
like
think
that.
they knew what it was, but
Yeah, they just
um
put the title on it, they're like, "Yeah, this will beat 'em."
it's marketing. Yeah, exactly. Like, did you like? So obviously you played these growing up. Like, did you own this or did you rent it or what was your story
No,
with
my
it?
cousins owned it, so I played
The
at their place a ton. We'd
the
go over there
classic
and
cousins.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
I was
yeah.
the like Legends of Zelda, uh, Mega Man. What else did I have? Maximum Carnage. All sorts of that shit.
Nice.
And then they
Sure.
had like the Star Wars franchises. They had the Donkey Kongs, so head over
Ooh.
there and we were playing this or Donkey Kong.
Fuck me, was the Super Nintendo ever a beast, man?
Oh
Like
man,
my what a legendary. We had no idea how good we had it back in the SNES era. Like no idea just how
no.
special that system was. Um
Well, and
okay,
just
so
like killer
what's
IP after killer IP, right? Like
oh,
they
fucking
just
insane, yeah. Okay, so then if you used to go to your cousins to play this all the time, $1 million question. Have you ever beat it?
no. Has anyone?
I don't think anyone has. I wouldn't be. This is one of those games where I'm like, I wouldn't be surprised if there is no ending actually programmed in because they were
so
like, no one's gonna beat it anyway.
So to prepare for the show, I went and watched a YouTube video and was like, I gotta see how this ends. It ends so good. I'm like actually pissed that I never beat it because it would have been epic.
How does it?
Uh,
Go ahead. It's a fucking old game. We're spoiling it.
so you end. You know how you get the flying levels on the speeder?
Yeah.
It ends with you in the X-wing, flying and doing the Death Star run, where you blow up
Okay.
the Death Star. So you like you fight Darth Vader a little bit. And then it switches from like the X-wing over the top view flying around like the speeder to being in the cockpit of the X-wing and fighting with Darth Vader.
Oh,
It
sick.
looks super cool.
Like
Like
first
for an ending,
person
it was
style.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Okay.
So you're ripping around on the surface of the Death Star, fighting Tie fighters and shit, and it is fast as hell. I
Sure.
imagine it's probably the hardest part of the game, and I never made it that far.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
then
Like it.
and you can do like the little jump, like you can do with the speeder and everything. Like it just kind of feels the same, looks the same.
Sure.
But then when you're inside the cockpit, yeah, you're fighting Darth Vader, and you have like a aiming reticule, and it's first person mode.
That's pretty
Shields,
sick.
yeah, you get like your little cockpit display. You get the you know uh DOS Microsoft DOS style like for uh for your aiming display on your cockpit HUD. Like it's super cool. And then you fire a
That's
couple
dope.
missiles and blow up the Death Star.
Oh, so they won.
Uh for a little while.
Yeah, for a little while. That's one of the things that stood out to me. And again, I can only get I can't get that far. Fucking this fucking game owns me. But at least in the early going, I found it's not like a one for one scene for scene retelling of the movie because obviously they
No.
need to expand on it to make it into a video game. But
Yeah.
compared to some of the other video games I've played based on popular movies, I think it does a fairly reasonable job at least staying semi on the path that you're
Yeah,
expecting it to be.
they just extended some stuff to add levels. Like, Luke goes and buys R2D2 and C3PO from the Jawas. Instead, he has to rescue them from them and fights the Jawas, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's where,
And then,
buddy, and that okay, and that's so like I've most of the time. How far are we into this show? 15 minutes. Most of the time that you and I have been recording this, I have been trying to climb this motherfucking sandwalker. This level, like, so that okay. So when I started playing it, I'm in that very first level. I'd never played this before. I'm playing it on stream. I'm playing it on normal difficulty. And that very first level, I am getting massacred by these scorpions and the whatever the fuck they are, those flying things that keep popping up. And
yeah,
I eventually it took me a few runs before I realized that like the enemies in this game just never stop spawning a lot of the time.
never.
So it's
You get
like it's just
they drop lots of health, though. Like,
they
for as
do.
much as they spawn, you can kind of glitch it at a few spots. And if you're hurting, sit there and just let them respawn if you can kill them and kind of boost your health back up.
Definitely you can. But that's like and that's one of the things I noticed was like the enemies just never stop spawning. And at least in the first few levels, because I'm reading the instruction manual and it's saying like, hit this button to swap weapons and stuff. And I'm trying it and it's not working. And then I realized that like, oh, you don't have your lightsaber until after you save the droids and and run into Han and all that, or not Han, excuse me, Obi-Wan and all that, which again, like the movie, makes sense, right? I'm down with all that.
Yep.
But so I'm trying to switch to my lightsaber because I'm thinking like maybe that's what I'm doing wrong. Like maybe that's why I'm getting my ass kicked. Maybe I'd be better off with the lightsaber. And then I realized like, oh no, the game is just designed to beat the fuck out of you at all times. And the constant respawning enemies, you just eventually learn to like fight them as you need to, and just keep moving. Like there is no standing there trying to take out every enemy because you'll never do it. Like in some of the later levels you will, but at that first level with the scorpions and stuff, just go. And it took me a long time to wrap my head around that because the Mario fan in me wanted to jump on every Goomba.
Yeah, yeah,
And
yeah.
then I realized like, no, just fucking, for the love of fuck, man, just go. Cause otherwise you're just going to stand out here in the desert and slowly get eaten to death or whatever the fuck they're doing to you.
Yeah. They'll
And then you
just
get to
take
that,
you down, and then you fight the Sarlacc pit monster, and he'd one
and
shot.
buddy, he's so fucking like that first boss and you're fighting and you're standing. Yeah. What is it? What's it called? You're more
A
familiar with Star Wars than me.
Sarlacc pit monster or Sarlacc.
Right.
I don't know. Yeah, Sarlacc worm.
It's like a giant teethy worm with tentacles that comes out of the quicksand.
Yeah, they didn't
And
borrow that from Dune. Swear to
no,
God.
I haven't seen Dune, so I assume that they didn't. They did. They did. I don't know.
I don't know.
I don't know.
There's always that argument in the sci-fi who
oh
ripped
yeah,
off who.
yeah. It's same as in comedy. And the rule in comedy is whoever got it on TV first is the one that wrote it.
Oh, there you go.
So maybe it's the same thing. Whoever got it into a game first it's theirs. So I never played Dune. I don't fucking know.
I think there's an old Dune RTS game on the computer, so they got it in first. Screw you, Star Wars.
Dune definitely seems like a franchise that would make like a bunch of old PC games for you, like for the most hardcore of nerds. And I mean that with all due respect, my friends. But you fight that boss and like, buddy, the first time I streamed this game, that first boss, all he does is he comes out of the quicksand, swings his tentacles at you if you're close to him, and
Yeah.
like pukes up rocks that come down and hit you and take away a lot of health when they hit you. That boss fucked me up for a good hour. I was like, what? Like most games, the first boss is like, hey, we're just gonna let you get your feet wet, then we'll start kicking your ass. This one, that first boss, and it wasn't until I finally realized like your best bet is to just keep your distance, hold, shoot, and just hope you hit it more than it hits you, unless there's a better play that I haven't figured out. Like that's
Yeah.
my strategy for him.
You could time it too so that you were shooting the rocks before they hit you. Like you had to kind of give
Yeah,
it a half-second pause, not just, you know, power through the blaster. But if you
right.
timed it just right, yeah.
Yeah, and normally that's how I was beating it. Was I just happened to get into a flow where I was taking out most of his rocks because they take so
Yeah.
much fucking damage or so much
Yeah.
health away. I mean, and
Yeah,
you
exactly.
mentioned this. The one thing about this game is I found it's insanely generous with the drops. Like every enemy at least drops health,
Yeah.
at least.
Drops health, and like I don't know, I can't remember if they were a fixed drop, but the lightsabers that extend your health bar, like
Yeah,
those just seem to drop pretty frequently too.
yeah. They don't. I don't think they're fixed because I've had runs where they seem to be showing up. Like there's the occasional enemy that does, but it seems like they're kind of random. Same as in the
Yeah.
first level, it doesn't seem like any enemies are dropping blaster upgrades or the thermo detonating grenade thingies. But
Yeah.
in later levels, it just seems like most of the runs where I've done well in this game, it's just enemies just keep dropping stuff. Like
Yeah.
and that's one of the tricks I've realized. Like I'm in the Sandcrawler right now. Is like, dude, once your gun starts getting leveled up, especially once it gets the seeking upgrade, it's like trying
Yeah,
to hold on
yeah,
to the spread gun.
what do they call that? The proton seeker. Yeah, that
Yeah,
rips.
it's like trying to hold on to the spread gun in Contra. Like it literally cuts the difficulty of the game in half.
Yeah.
But
Well,
when you
because then you don't
die,
have to really aim, right?
no, you just hold shoot at all times. But the
Yeah.
problem is when you die, and you will die, you lose all your upgrades. I just died, dude, in this. Oh, we'll get to this fucking Sandcrawler. But like, I
Okay.
just died, and now I've lost all my gun upgrades, and now I'm back to this stupid little pea shooter again. And it's just, it almost. I've had runs where I'm like, once I die once, it's like it's practically game over for me because I'm never gonna get to the upgrade to the point where I have the good blaster again.
Yeah, so you just have to play it in one life. One
Yeah,
playthrough. Speed run it.
yeah, exactly. It's fucking. Oh my god, it's wild. So that
Yeah.
first level, like I wasn't mad at the game, but after playing it for a while, I was like, yeah, I have to go down to easy. I nothing but respect. I've been trying to play it on normal, but I because I hate playing games on easy. But to me, you remember like when McDonald's changed like the size of their cups and then small became regular, regular became large, or vice versa. I mean, that's
Yeah,
how this
yeah.
game feels. Easy is normal, normal is hard, and hard is go fuck
Impossible.
yourself.
And
It's
for the
impossible.
most part, I think the only thing that really changes on the difficulty is your health bar is like fucking halved from normal to from normal to easy.
Well, you
Like,
just take you take so much fucking damage,
but I
and
think your
it's
health bar is way smaller too. Like it's like
it
you,
yeah, it
I
might
don't know
be.
if you take more damage. I just know the health bar shrinks significantly.
Yeah, maybe that's what it is. But you like, boy, dude, it's like shit. This game does like, and it's what shocks me. I think what makes this game so difficult is the combination that A, you do take a lot of damage when you get hit by stuff, and B, it is always trying to kill you. Like the enemies nonstop spawning, nonstop attacking, and a lot of the enemies you don't even have time to like dodge most of their attacks. So
Yeah,
it like you're it's the game is almost designed to just run through and know that the enemies are constantly going to be dropping hearts for you to fill your health up. So it's like just try to minimize the damage you take and grab all these hearts.
yeah,
Like I
and
I don't fuck, it's insane.
well, and like the enemies, they're not random, but like you said, they're spawning so much. Like you can't even just predict where they're going to be and then shoot them once. Like
No.
it's nonstop.
Dude, and that yeah, like oh come on. I just died again. Fuck this fucking Sandcrawler level. Yeah, and that first level, the scorpions, and then later, and I don't know the terms. I'm still a Star Wars noob, so nobody yell at me. There's like those green alien looking lizard things that jump that come out from behind the rocks.
Man, nobody knows what those are called. They made them up for the
Okay.
game.
Okay, good. Because I was worried that I was like, oh, you dumbass, those are
Those might be the womp.
qualiwobs.
No,
Yeah.
those might be the womp rats actually.
Okay. Well, whatever the fuck they are,
They
like
look
they just
they,
like
the green
what's
guys
that?
on the first. They're the green guys on the first level.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, those are the womp rats. That's like
Okay.
the Luke references them in the first
Oh,
game
okay.
about how he can shoot one with a blaster or some garbage, and so shooting the whatever, not photon torpedoes, ion missiles or whatever he shoots to blow up the Death Star.
Oh, okay.
He says,
Well,
"Oh, it's like shooting womp rats back on Tatooine."
oh yeah, 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 yeah.
Little farm boy moment.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay, that makes sense. Well, those things, like, I swear to fuck, it's like the programmers were like, okay, so the game can comfortably run with 4 of them on the screen. We must have 4 of them on the screen at all times. Because it's the second you kill one, here comes the fourth one. Like, replace it. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah,
it never stops. And that, to me, there's another part where the difficulty comes in, which I'm going to get to in a second. But a big portion of the difficulty, I don't find the enemies like one on one particularly difficult because they're pretty easy to kill. The problem is they just never stop. Like
yeah.
I don't know if I've ever played a game like I've played games where enemies respawn like if you leave the screen and then come back they've respawned. But in this one they just keep hopping out from behind walls and shit and it's like nope, we're always here all the fucking time. It's just this is one of the most like unforgiving games I think I've ever played. It's fucking wild. But I love it. I don't know why. I don't even know why I like it. We've been talking for 25 minutes and we're on the first fucking level. But
Yeah.
I'm like I love this stupid game. I don't know. So,
Yeah, it's great. Well, and like the sound is there. It sounds like Star Wars. Like I don't know if you could have had a Star Wars sounding game on the normal Nintendo. Like I
yeah,
think
yeah.
that the sound card wasn't there, whereas the 16-bit, I don't know what the sound card was on the SNES, but the 16-bit, like it looks great. It feels like a Star Wars game. You know, it's
Yeah.
an early iteration. Obviously, you're not getting like killer lightsaber battles. You just kind of do a flip and swing the lightsaber around, but it looks and sounds like Star Wars.
Yeah. I have to just say too, I love that you called the NES the normal Nintendo because that's what we used to call it too.
Yeah.
Was like you'd either play the Super Nintendo or the normal Nintendo.
Yeah.
So I want to know if there are any other listeners out there that called it the normal Nintendo. If there are, you're all beauties because that's what it's called, the normal Nintendo.
Gem. Yeah.
Yeah, that's good
Absolutely.
shit.
I thought
I love
everyone called it that. I don't know.
I like that a lot. That was I haven't heard that phrase in so long because I call it the NES now. But to
Yeah.
hear just the normal Nintendo, that took me back to the 80s. That was good shit.
Nice.
Okay, well listen, we're like half an hour into this thing and we've gotten through one level. So I think at this point we've officially established that this is a difficult game. So
Yeah.
let's take a break. We'll let a sponsor in here, and then when we get back, we'll get into some of the other levels and I don't know what else there is to talk about, but we'll find other things. So oh my fucking god, I just killed the boss in the Sandwalker and then missed the last jump to get R2D2, fell in the lava, died, and I'm back to the checkpoint. We're going to oh my fucking fuck. Let's let a sponsor in here. I need to go calm down. That is such horseshit. I'll be right back. Fuck me. I swear to fuck that's true. I just died on that, like literally. Okay, so like that second. Okay, so once you beat that first level, then you're on the land speeder, and I think those levels are cool. Just everyone played Super Mario Kart F-Zero back in the day. It's got those kinds of graphics. Those
Yeah,
graphics were
yeah,
so dope back in the day. Like those just
yeah.
seem so revolutionary.
Yeah, and it definitely feels like F-Zero. Like it's so good. It's
Very
I love
much.
how they broke it up. Like you got your Mega Man style like side scrolling, shooter, and then boom, you're in a land speeder ripping around. And to find out that the last level is the trench battle where you're flying around, the Death Star attack and the trench battle where you're flying around in a X-wing in the same
Yeah,
style.
yeah,
Awesome. Love
yeah.
how they
That's
finish this one. Like that's so
really
cool.
good.
I wish I would have made it there as a kid. I'm a little bit
Me too.
butthurt about that.
I know. I want to. I'm like bound and determined now. This game is like I've slotted this one onto my list of. I have such a fetish for these tough old games where I'm like I don't know what it is about them. I just have to keep trying, and this is made that category where I'm like I want to beat this fucking game. Yeah, the land speeder levels like, and it's I love how they control, and I like how albeit pretty primitive and very pixelated. I like the draw distance. Like you can see these enemies coming at you from a mile away, and you can like
Yeah.
get on them because if you don't get on them, those little Jawas when they get close, they'll fuck you up.
They mess you up, yeah. And
They'll
I love that
fuck
you
you
have
up.
fuel for your land speeder and health. So when there's like some, I don't know what they are, like sensor arrays or something like that. You can blow them up to get fuel for your land
Yeah,
speeder. When you're
yeah.
doing like the little jump or have the jets on, it fucking eats your fuel up faster.
Yeah, so when I first started playing that level, I was burning all my fuel in the first like 3 seconds, and then I was just stuck. Then you're stuck. You're just sitting there looking straight ahead, and I was getting stomped. And I'm like, "What the fuck is this?" And then I looked up the instruction manual and realized that like, oh, if you just push up, you'll drive forward without burning fuel. B is like your thrusters, and then you
Yeah,
also have to use them to turn left or right. So like you have to conserve your fuel, or you're not able to turn anymore.
yeah,
And
yeah,
the only way to beat the level is to just kill enough of the enemies that it like counts down and says go to the like that
yeah.
first one is go to the Sandcrawler.
Yeah, it's like
Um,
20 of them or something. I can't remember.
yeah, I don't remember
But you
either.
have to X amount of enemies and then it gets you to the Sandcrawler. Like
Yeah,
it's
and
you,
and what's really cool too is like you see the Sandcrawler in the distance, and you just have to drive to it and not be killed
yeah.
because they're still attacking you the whole time.
And
Uh,
there's a later another one where you're on a speeder and I think you just have to I think you have to I forget what you have to kill. I think you're killing Jawas again. But
that
when you're done, you have to fly it or drive it towards Mos Eisley, like the main city. That's where you meet where you meet Han Solo in that bar
okay,
in the
okay,
cantina.
yeah, yeah.
So so yeah, same deal. Like you just kill a bunch of enemies and then you have to just drive into Mos Eisley and you just see this like silhouette of a city in the background.
In the distance, yeah. That's the level. That's as far as I can get. That's level. I looked up a walkthrough. That's level 7 of 14. Is the second land speeder level. I
Yeah.
can't beat it. I keep dying on it. But by the time I get there, I have like no lives left, and I'm just getting fucking
Is it
sodomized by
Jawas
these.
still?
Yeah, yeah. But you have to
Yeah.
kill more of them. I'm pretty sure, at least on the I can't remember what difficulty I was playing on. In the first level, you have to kill 10, and then in the second level, you have to kill 20, or something like that.
Oh,
And that's where
okay.
I'm
Yeah,
getting
yeah, yeah.
killed. Yeah. Um.
Yeah, and there's
so-
the Womp Rats show up. Like you see those little
yeah.
green rat,
Yeah.
little dudes ripping around too. And
Yeah.
sand
Yeah.
people, I think. Are sand people walking around in that too? Or is it just the
Uh.
Jawas?
I know they're walking around in the level right beforehand, where after you get
Yeah.
R2D2 back and you get the lightsaber. Because I was fighting them in that level. I can't remember if they were in the land speed. I've only gotten that land speeder level like once. I'm not very good. I'm not good.
You gotta
Um,
just use the force.
use the fucking force, fuck me. Well, like, so once you beat that land speeder level, dude, then you get to like this level has just given me fits for days. Level 3 is we have to climb the fucking sand crawler. And that level infuriates me because when you fall, there's no shortcuts. You have to climb the whole way back up again. And not only do you have to climb the whole way back up again, every turret and flamethrower on the side of this fucking thing has respawned. So
Yeah.
you need to fight them all again. And it's just fucking vicious, man. It is that level drives me up the fucking wall. Climbing that
Well,
fucking sandcrawler.
and like we were saying, unless you have the proton seeker, it's so fucking hard. Like
Yeah,
you get that gun, you can climb it. It's no problem. You just have to make the jumps because you can
agreed.
just fire the missiles and it'll take out everything in your way.
Agreed. Cause shit shows up underneath you and like
Yeah.
it can be
All those
incredibly hard to shoot at unless you've got the seekers. Yeah.
Well, and then there's all those hatches on the side, like you're saying, the flamethrowers and the turrets and shit. Like they're just everywhere.
Yeah.
They're covering the whole side. Like it is
Pl-
such
yeah.
a hard. Prince of Persia style like parkour adventure.
Yeah, and when they're hitting you, like you're like the platforms you're jumping on aren't stationary. Most of them are moving. So
Yeah,
you need to stick those landings. And if enemies hit you, then half the time there's not a ton of knockback. Like it's not Ninja Gaiden Castlevania knockback, but you get that you like slide back a couple inches, and that can be
yeah.
all it takes to knock you off a platform, fall down to the beginning, everything is respawned, start climbing again. Fuck you. It
Yeah.
is I hate that fucking I hate that fucking level.
And there's no leg grabbing or anything like that. Like you got to stick the landing. There's
Yeah, the only other advantage you have is if you hold up when you jump, Luke does his like big flip jump, which you get a little bit more air.
yeah.
But that's it. But then there, I just got R2D2. Fuck you, fucking boss. But then once you beat that level, then you get inside it. And buddy, this level inside this fucking Sandcrawler. Oh, this level has fucked me up for so long. There's so many enemies and they take so much. The enemies don't take health, but it's all the like the fucking big gun turrets take so much health. And then when you get down to the bottom, I don't know if it's sand or lava, but like
It's
if you
sand, I thought,
it looks
but
like
it's like,
sand.
but I think it's like you're driving over it, so it's fast moving or whatever. That's why they. I
Oh, that
thought
makes
that's
sense. That makes
so. Then
sense.
you're like it's like falling into something that's clipping along, even though it
It's
doesn't look like this
brutal.
moves very
And
fast.
like and when you fall in it, it can like it's so weird. I don't know. I'm sure there's a system, but I don't know what the system is. When you fall in it at the end of this level, sometimes it insta kills you, sometimes you're fine. If
Oh,
you jump
really?
right back out. Like, as I've fallen in and jumped right back out, or I've been knocked in and it's an insta death with full health. And that's what just happened to me. I killed that fucking boss at the end. It looks like something out of Metroid, but then I just have to make 2 quick jumps. And then I'm right at R2D2 and I missed one of the jumps, fell into the sand and died. I had to do the whole thing again. Because when you
Is
die, the checkpoints in this game are fucking as vicious as the enemies are. It's not like you're going back a couple of feet. You're going back like half a stage.
I'm trying to
Oh,
remember. Is it a pretty linear path in there where
yeah.
I remember killing this green thing that I thought was the boss, and afterwards you get like 4 or 5 of the lightsabers in a row?
Yeah. Yeah. So you fight that lizard thing that like
Yeah, yeah,
spits fireballs at you. And if you beat
yeah,
it, yeah, then it gives you a gun upgrade and a heart. And then there's like a bunch of platforms where it's like lightsaber to extend your health bar, big heart for health. Lightsaber, big heart.
yeah, 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 yeah.
Uh then you fall down, have to make a few jumps over the sand or whatever the fuck it is, and then you
And
fight
then you
the
fight the
boss.
boss. Yeah.
Yeah, and that boss can suck my fucking ass.
Well, and I
I
thought
didn't
that lizard was the boss initially
Me
because
too,
he takes a ton of shots. Like he's
buddy.
not easy.
No, like the only strategy I found to get past him is to lure him back to there's like a ledge you can
Yeah,
stand
yeah,
on.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
And
yeah,
then when he does his lean forward and spit at you attack, he can't hit you. But when he
yeah.
does his standing straight up shooting fireballs out of his gut, then they will hit you. And they shoot so fast you don't really even have enough time to dodge. So it's I found that with a lot of the enemies in this game, it's like there's a classic saying the best defense is a good offense, and that's how this game plays. Because I found with a lot of the enemies, like even the boss in the Sandcrawler, the actual boss, the only way I've ever been able to beat it is to get on the platform it's on, kneel, and just shoot, and just hope that I kill it before it kills me.
Oh, maybe that might actually be lava.
Because like
The
I don't
boss's
know.
name is Lava Beast
Yeah,
Jawakinko.
yeah, and that's what I thought too. But then I was like, it makes sense that it's sand because it's the sand going by the bottom of the machine.
Yeah,
So I
unless
don't.
yeah,
Whatever
I
it
don't
is,
know.
it fucking sucks.
Yeah,
So
that was where the developer took a this isn't sand, it's lava
yeah,
now.
yeah.
The
It's close
floor is
enough.
lava.
Yeah, they were like, most kids won't even get this far. Who cares? So stupid kids. Um, no, it's just so like I don't have a ton to say about the levels. I'm playing the level after the Sandcrawler right now, and now I'm
Yeah,
fighting
land.
some of the sand people.
Yeah.
Now they're coming running at me, and now
Yeah.
I'm about to get my lightsaber. Which makes such a big difference. The lightsaber is so good in this fucking game.
Yeah, I'm a
Um,
little disappointed that it wasn't a one shot for everything. Like I felt like you're taking away any range, so you should get one shot kills everything.
right, but there's so I can't remember if it's this level or the next one, but you have to fight. And again, I'm still a Star Wars noob. You fight like giant lizard after giant lizard. There's like 4 or 5 of these mini boss fights,
Yeah, they're the
and
mutant womp. Oh no, not the mutant womp rats. What are they?
I'm gonna get to one
That's
soon.
the
They do
end.
look
That's
like mutant womp rats,
yeah, because
but
it's like the end boss on that level is the mutant womp rat.
right. But they look like smaller versions of one of those.
Yeah,
And I found that like all I do is I keep doing the flip with the lightsaber, because when you flip with the lightsaber, it's almost like Samus's screw attack. Like they're just it's always out and always doing damage.
Yeah.
There we are. I just ran into Obi-Wan, and he's gonna give me my lightsaber.
Use the
But
force, Luke.
yeah, there we go. That flip with the lightsaber is a goddamn godsend. Because you're right. Before I started doing the flip, I'm just mashing the attack button and swinging it. And I'm like, this does the exact same amount of damage as the blaster, but enemies seem to get close enough to get a shot in on me every fucking time.
Yeah.
I
It's
agree with
super
that.
annoying.
Yeah. Like, I don't have to one-shot bosses, but banthas are what I'm fighting now, and it's like a giant.
Oh yeah, that's
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
what the sand people ride. That's it.
Right. Yeah.
It's like it looks like a buffalo meets a
Yeah, it's like a giant buffalo.
uh,
Yeah. And to
yeah,
kill them, I just
a
keep
buffalo
doing
meets
flips and keeping my lightsaber out in front of me.
yeah.
But it's just, I'm not complaining, because I love this fucking game. I'm genuinely, I'm kind of shocked at how difficult it is. But also, I agree with you that the lightsaber should one hit kill. But I also wonder if you could do that. Like, I I think and I mentioned this half an hour ago. I think there are games that are NES tough because the developers didn't know what they were doing. I don't
Yeah.
feel like this game is tough by accident. Like, I think they made it this way on purpose. And I think a one-shot kill with the lightsaber might have offset that difficulty.
I think
Even
so
though I would have been okay with it.
because like well, and it would have been okay. I think the one shot kill they could also have scaled it. So like on easy it's a one shot kill, and then on normal it's two or whatever. Like kind of
Right.
how it plays now, and then on hard it's like I wouldn't use the lightsaber.
Who the fuck plays this on hard? Like, what the fuck? You're
Sociopath.
you're sadistic if you play. And I've played some pretty hard games, but this game on hard is fucking sadistic. I'm noticing now, like in the first level, I didn't find the drops as random. Now I find them pretty random. I don't know if they are or
Yeah.
not, but I'm getting like tons. Dude, my lightsaber is like half the length of the screen now. Like my health bar, I mean.
Yeah. Well, and that's one of the things I remember playing as a kid. And my cousin, she would have the whole top of the screen up until like the score was her
Right.
lightsaber because she would find so many of the freaking things like
Yeah,
past the
yeah.
score. Like it would just be insane to me.
But then
Whereas, you start a new game or whatever, and you're starting with like a light dagger.
yeah. And then the worst part is that it's the same as your blaster, man. Like you die and like all those power-ups are gone. Fuck you. Start
Yeah.
from scratch. Yeah, it is a mutant womp rat as the boss. I just killed him, the boss.
Nice.
The mutant womp rat. Fuck me. I'm having a good run here. Look at me. Look at me go. Look at me. Yeah, so this is as far as I can get is the second land speeder level. So one of the things I didn't even realize because I hadn't gotten far enough into the game, but reading about it is you actually get to play as Han and Chewie.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
that's
Super cool.
fucking sick. Like, you've gotten that far then?
Yeah, I've gotten like just outside of Mos Eisley. I think it was what the hell was the boss that I was fighting? I beat the Cantina, and it's the Han. I haven't played as Chewie. I was playing as Han,
Okay.
but it's
Okay.
like something hovering. It was like a big hovercraft with a stormtrooper in it, and he
Like,
just whooped the shit out of me. I couldn't beat that boss.
I assume that Han, like, does he play differently than Luke? Like, because I assume
No,
he doesn't have a lightsaber.
no lightsaber. The lightsaber only Luke gets, and then Han it's like early Luke with the blaster and everything, just the
Right.
same.
Yeah, yeah.
So
Can
you're
he
just
do the
ripping
big?
around.
Can he do the big flip jump? Do you remember?
I don't remember. I think so. Yeah, I'm pretty sure he could. Like, I think it played exactly the same, just no lightsaber.
Okay.
I'm
Like,
pretty
I
sure even
mean,
his blaster was the same. Like, there was no
oh,
upgrade
okay, yeah,
to
yeah.
the blaster or anything.
Okay. It would have been cool if there were more differences, but I will say just the idea that like I would assume like like for myself, like Darth Vader is my favorite character, and then R2D2, and then probably Chewie and Han. Like
Nice.
Chewie and
Yeah.
Han are two of the most popular characters in the like. It's really cool that they put in the option to play as them, even if it's only for a little while. Like
Yeah.
I think that was those are the little things, and I say this
Yeah.
on the show. But when developers back in the day just took those, again, Star Wars, there probably wasn't an easier franchise to just cash in on than Star Wars. And that
Oh
they
yeah.
went that, that they really, this game doesn't feel half-assed. Like they tried really hard with this game. I
Yeah.
think.
I think so. I think they and I think they hit a home run. Like
Me too.
these games are very popular too. Like they are.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm like in awe. Like I'm playing. Fuck, I cannot beat this fucking second land speeder level. The problem with the land speeder levels is, especially the second one, you don't have a radar, and like they're just hitting me from behind, and then I have to burn all this fuel to turn around. And by the time I turn around, they're turning, and now they're like I'm never getting them in front of me. Fuck.
Yeah, and you always have to keep moving. You always have to keep ripping
Always.
around.
Fuck, and you just burn lives. And it's nice that it gives you like 4 or 5 continues. Like it's at least on easy, it gives you I think 5 continues, and it's pretty
Yeah.
generous. But even with all the continues, I'm like, no, I'm not. This game, like a password system would have been nice. I'll
Yeah,
say that a
definitely.
passwords
Yeah.
like for really tough games like this, I can live without having save files, but a password system would have been a nice addition. So,
Yeah, for
because I
sure.
I can't even I don't know if I'll ever see those last half of those levels. I now a lot of people told me that this game was pretty riled with cheat codes back in the day. I never
Oh, I
used them.
didn't know that.
Yeah, but people have told
But
me that like that's how they beat it was cheating.
yeah, well, I was gonna say, like, I would never have known that though, because when I played, it was pre-internet, so
Right.
you
Yeah.
would have had to hear about the cheat codes from Nintendo Power or something like that.
Yeah. Which dude, like we've talked about doing like an episode dedicated to like the Game Genie or cheat
Oh
codes or
man,
something someday.
yeah.
There's such a I don't know, like, I wonder why more games don't have them now. Like, there's such a like the Konami code and all that. It's just such a
Oh yeah.
like it's such a artifact of old school gaming, and I kind of miss cheat codes.
Well, you know what? You got to get some developers together and get a game called Remember the Game built that
Yes,
has cheat codes, and it's just a
yes,
throwback to all this nostalgia, like
yeah.
you fighting
My,
different iconic bosses.
you know what I want to do? I want
That'd
to
be really
create
good.
I want to
Little
create a
16-bit
game.
Adam ripping around.
Yes, I want to create a game where literally the only way to beat it is to figure out the cheat code. Like
Oh,
you
that'd be too
can't
good.
beat it without the cheat code. And then I don't
Yeah,
want to tell people that and have everybody just bitch at my game
yeah.
until they figure out the cheat code. And then once you enter the cheat code, I want to make a game where at any time you can pause, bring up the cheat code menu, put in the cheat code, and beat the game. You could do in the
Yeah.
first 5 seconds if you wanted to. That's my vision for my video game. I want it to be called the world's cheapest game. Like I want it to just be so notoriously cheap. Oh my god, I did it! Head toward Moss Eisley.
Yeah,
I just have to
Moss
get there now.
Eisley.
Oh my god, buddy, this game is so fucking good, Tyler. And I'm shocked. Like no 2-player. No, I mean it's got difficulty settings, but that's it. But I don't think it needs anything else. Like this game
Oh,
is retro gaming. The epitome of what I love about retro gaming. I love the way
yeah,
it looks. I love the way it plays.
yeah. No, definitely. And like you say, it doesn't need anything else. But in the next ones, you get the Force when you're playing as Luke. Like it does up the stakes a little bit, where you get
What?
like a bunch of Force abilities. Like I think you could do like a super jump where you would kind of float a little bit. There was way to uh, what was the other ones? It was like there was a super jump. There was like some mind control. I think there was something that enhanced your saber ability a bit.
That's sick. Dude, because I guess
Uh,
because I guess like he didn't have the force in this movie.
no, like not
Like
at all.
he wasn't a
Is
Jedi
it?
or anything yet. He's just a
Yeah,
stupid kid.
he's like in tune with the force a little bit, which helps him like make the shot and stuff, and helps his
Sure.
reflexes. But
Sure.
he's not like fine honed the ability. I'm reading one of the Star Wars books right now. A buddy from work is like getting me all these novels, and it's talking about like after these movies when Leia is starting to be trained as a Jedi, right?
Okay.
And she's like in bed, pregnant with twins, and she's the lights on or something, and she's like trying to turn the light switch off with the Force, but she doesn't have that fine tune control. Like she can move objects, but she can't like toggle a switch. So it's
Yeah,
like a
yeah, yeah.
muscle. It's a muscle you have to develop. So like in the first movie, it seems like Luke, he's aware of it. It helps him make the shot to blow up the Death
Sure.
Star, but
Sure.
he's not doing like force floats and mind control
Right.
and shit like that.
They're like, she's trying to turn off the lights. So just clap your hands.
Just
And she's
fucking
like, no,
get
damn
R2
it.
to do it.
Yeah, get R2 to do it. What the fuck else has he got to do? Yeah, I'm playing this level right now, and yeah, I'm like fighting fucking stormtroopers and shit. This is dope. I fucking
Yeah.
love this game. I don't even know if this has been a good episode. I feel like this has been kind of just an all over the map episode. But you know what? I have quite enjoyed this. I feel like this is a very throwback episode of Remember the Game, where it was
Yeah.
less structure, less going through like, well, then you do this, then you have to do this, and more of just like, dude, remember this part of the game and how like
Yeah.
this. I would have been obsessed with this game as a child.
Oh yeah.
How the fuck?
I
How the fuck me? Like,
I
where have these
probably
games
would
been?
have beaten it just out of sheer determination if I had it, but because I'd have
Yeah.
to get my cousins to play it.
Well, I'm gonna have to play the other two now and definitely
Oh
check
man, they're
them out.
good.
Are they? And they're like, oh, dude, you know another thing that I had so many people message me about that I totally forgot about. And this is I always tell people like if you're playing a retro game for the first time, Google the instruction manual. Takes like 90
Yeah.
seconds to read it. There's no tutorials back then. Like these games are designed to be played with instruction manuals.
Yeah.
Luke's slide, I don't use it nearly enough, and it is so critical to success.
Yeah, well, that
And
was the difference between Han and Luke. Han had a roll. He did like a roll that kind of went a little
oh,
further, I think. I don't think it was better, but in the other games, I think Han had like plasma bombs, whereas Luke gets the force.
right,
So like
right.
I think each character kind of gets a little bit more unique as the game develops,
Oh
like in
man.
the sequels.
What a fantastic trilogy. I mean, I don't know. Maybe the other two suck. I don't think so. I can't wait to play
Nah,
them.
they're 10 out of 10.
Dude, this is everybody listening to the show with any regularity knows that the Super Nintendo is my like Super Nintendo even more than the normal Nintendo, which is still my favorite thing from this episode that we brought back the normal Nintendo. The Super Nintendo is still my goat. I still think it's the greatest. And I'm very, very, very protective of my best Super Nintendo games list. And I think this one has to get on there now. I have to buy this. I have to
Nice.
try these other two. How the fuck have they not like I know they were re-released on PlayStation, but like how are these games not on everything? Like how
Yeah,
would
because
like
I think they were released on PlayStation 4 or something like that.
yeah, they're on at least Super Star Wars is on PS Plus because
Yeah.
I've played it on my PS5 with PS Plus. But you know what? I found playing it on the PlayStation, I found it much easier to play on my Super Nintendo Classic. Like I'm emulating it, but much easier with a Super Nintendo controller than with the PS5 D-pad. Like
I
this is one that is designed to be played because I do find that flip jump as good as that flip jump is. I do find myself missing the mark with it on occasion with the PS5 D-pad.
Yeah, because
And
when it came out on PSP and PS4, it got it had like significantly worse reviews than the
oh
original
yeah,
release.
I believe that. Yeah. And it's so, do you not like, I don't know anything about game development, but I always find it weird when all you're doing is porting an old game to a modern hardware. And you would think that like by default, that would make the game better because the load screens would be gone or faster and stuff like that. And I always find it weird when they do stuff like that and it's worse.
Yeah,
But I don't know. I don't,
I think that's just sometimes technology moves past where
yeah,
the inputs were or whatever. So
man,
I
maybe you're
don't know.
right.
I'm
Cause
not
like
too sure. I'm not too sure about that though. I don't
yeah,
know.
like as I like this game to me is exponentially better on with the Super Nintendo, like the Super Nintendo version, the Super Nintendo controller. There's
Yeah,
no slowdown. It doesn't lag. It doesn't chug, dude. And that's the other thing for a game that looks and plays as well as this, with a great soundtrack and all the enemies on the screen and everything. Oh fuck, it's Chewy. I got to Chewy.
yeah.
It runs flawlessly. Like this
Oh
is a
yeah.
great polished video game. I don't know if I can. Do you have any criticisms? I don't even
Other
think the
than it being
difficulty is
too
a
hard.
criticism.
Yeah. No, I loved it. I loved everything about it. I mean, fuck. Oh, pardon me. Uh,
Oh,
like
you can swear.
I know. I'm trying. I got another baby on the way. I'm trying to clean up the
I
language
get
a
it. I
little
get
bit.
it. All right.
Trying
I
to
get
say
it.
fart more a little.
I understand.
Um, I wish there were more like weapon variety, but having whatever the blaster, the laser blaster, flame blaster, proton seeker, the ion, and I forget the plasma. The plasma was the last
Yeah,
one,
I have the
and then a
yeah.
lightsaber.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
that was banging. Like
Yeah, yeah. Dude, and what's crazy, so I just got to Chewie, so then it gave me the choice to play as Luke or Chewie. So I of course I'm gonna pick Chewie. And all my upgrades carried over as long as I don't die. Like his crossbow has the plasma shooter and stuff now.
oh nice.
Fucking sick. Yeah, it's fucking sick.
Oh, so I could have played as Chewie. I just never picked him as a kid. I just don't
Yeah,
remember that.
that's who I'm playing as right. I love Chewie so much.
Nice.
Does anyone not like Chewie?
He's the
Like
best.
he's like
Well,
he's like
South Park makes that joke, right? Everybody
yeah.
he's dressed
Yeah,
up
oh yeah,
as
that's right. Yeah,
Chewbacca.
yeah. Everybody's Chewbacca for Halloween.
Yeah.
Dude, that's a classic. I forgot about that episode. That's good times. I agree with you. Like, I don't even consider the difficulty a flaw. I think the only criticism I have is I think it could have used a password system.
Yeah.
Like for a game this difficult, I get that you can't save, but like to be a kid and you're like, fuck, I died. It would be nice if I could enter a password and go right to like the Sandcrawler level or something. Because until you get good, you're gonna burn half your lives getting to the whatever level. Like by the time you get to wherever the furthest level you can get to is, you've burned almost all your lives already because of the difficulty.
Yeah.
Um,
But I mean,
but
that's the way you get, instead of whatever, an hour worth of playthrough. Because
sure,
a game like this is probably an hour to maybe 2 hours long.
yeah, you're probably right.
So not having the password system and all that is how they got 44 hours of
Yeah,
playability from a
no
game like this,
question. Yeah,
right?
you got
Like
your
modern
money's
games.
worth. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Oh my god, dude, like I'm in the bar right now and like you can see the band in the background playing,
Oh
but then
man,
there's
it's so good,
also
eh?
you can also see people in the foreground, like you see the back of their head and they're really big and they're like watching you
Yeah.
run through the bar. That's fucking sick. Uh
Yeah.
no, and you're right. And you know what, dude? I'll say, and you grew up in the same generation as me. I bet you feel the same way. There's something to be said for replaying these old games over and over again and just slowly cracking the code. And
Yeah.
every time you come back, you're a little bit better and a little bit. Oh, I just died at the boss. I just lost all my power ups. Now I'm fucked.
Well, and that's a hard boss, the big whatever he
Yeah,
is. He's like a
whatever the
mutant
fuck he is,
patron.
he's just kicked my
Yeah,
ass.
he's like an alien with a
Yeah,
long neck, and I don't know,
I'll try killing him
tries
with the
to
lightsaber.
tries to
Um,
chomp you.
but yeah, you're right. Like I've always like games like the TMNT on the NES or the original Castlevania, Bart versus the Space Mutants. Like those are some of my
Yeah, yeah,
favorite NES games, and they're tough games. But there's just something about playing them over and over, and then being like, oh yeah, this boss used to be able to kick my ass, but now I know how to beat him, and that kind of stuff. Like it's a very gratifying feeling to get good. And I think getting rid of the password system does force you to play it over and over again, and you do get good eventually. I don't know if I'll ever get good enough to beat it. Nope. Fuck no.
probably
Nope.
not. No, you have
Nope.
to dedicate the rest of your life to it.
Oh my god. Fucking insane. Uh I don't know what else to say. I just think this game is brilliant. I love the way it looks. I love the way it plays. I love the way it sounds.
Yeah, no,
I don't know
same.
what else
Like,
to. Yeah.
it's not the most complicated game, but it just hits on all the marks. And then if you're a
Yeah.
Star Wars fan, this was some of the first. There were earlier Star Wars games. Like I think there's an Atari Star Wars game, like where you're just in some kind of fighter and you're shooting down TIE fighters or something like that. Like it's just a bunch
Sure.
of like glowing lines, pretty basic. But this is like kind of one of the first Star Wars games where it looked and felt and sounded Star Warsy.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah.
And you're saying, the people who love Star Wars are so spoiled. Well, it's like, and every one of the games seems to build on one another, like take aspects of it or take away from it and just get even better. Even though
Sure.
some of them are genre bending, right? And this is one of the first big steps I feel like towards having like good Star Wars uh, video games, right?
Totally.
And
Yeah.
and I mean the success helps with that, right?
Absolutely. My streak of Star Wars games being good continues. Like I've played this, Episode 1 Racer, Shadows of the Empire, Fallen Order, Survivor, KOTOR, Jedi
Yeah,
Academy. I think that's all of them, but they've all been great. They have all been
yeah,
great. I think this one's top 3 for me, just because of the retro charm.
yeah.
This one's top 3 now. This game is fucking. I don't. How do we score this thing? What do we score it out of? Do you got an idea?
Uh, no, I don't have an idea.
All right.
Let's
There's
score it
14
out of.
levels.
I was gonna say score it out of 9 since there's 9 movies.
All right. Yeah. Okay. Oh fuck. And before anybody writes in, I know there's more than fucking. I fuck. People be like, Solo actually, and fucking. Anyway.
Nine Skywalker
Yeah.
movies, whatever.
Let's go 9.
I
Yeah. I like that scale. That's a charming scale. Let's
The
go with that.
9 main movies.
Yeah.
I mean, Dave Filoni or Filoni or however you say his last name. He's doing great stuff with the other aspects of it. Like I think he did Mandalorian, Rebels. I don't know if he was involved with any of the movies, but I know they were gonna give him a Mandalorian movie. So,
Okay.
but
I
anyway,
like it.
9.
I like 9. I like
I'm
9.
gonna ramble about Star Wars for the whole day now.
Yeah, dude. I fucking I just I'm so I try to live without regrets, but not experiencing Star Wars as a youth is maybe the biggest regret of my life. Because I
You're
just
living a good life.
yeah, like I really enjoy this franchise now, and I wish that I had experience. Like this game, I would have never stopped playing this. This would be up there with Mega Man X for me if I'd played this as a kid.
That's exactly it. If I owned it, I would have played it as much as I played Mega Man X.
Absolutely. All right, then out of 9, you're the guests. What would you slap on Super Star Wars for the Super Nintendo, not the normal Nintendo?
Not normal Nintendo, Super Nintendo.
Super Nintendo.
Eight, a solid 8.
All
And
right.
I'm just taking a point away because I never beat it. And that end, like now have seen the end mission and the end boss battle. I'm like,
Yeah.
man, so that point off is more just because of my inability to beat it.
I get it. That's fair. That's fair. Yeah, honestly, you want to know the truth? I was tempted to go with the 9. I was tempted to go, but I've been getting a little too lax with my Super Mario World tax, and I need to keep taking it. If it's not Super Mario World, it deserves a. So I'm going to give it an 8 as well. I know it's kind of a lame answer, but like the only beef I have with this game is that it's not Super Mario World. I think this game is spectacular. Must play. Absolutely spectacular. And I assure all of you, I know some people have said they're like, you're doing a lot of Star Wars episodes lately. And I know some of you don't like that, but I also know way more of you do. What are the other two? What are the other two? What are they called on the Super Nintendo? I have them on my Super Nintendo Classic here.
Oh, it's Empire Strikes Back and
Return of the Jedi.
Return
They're
of
just
the
named
Jedi.
after
Yeah,
the movies. Yeah.
they're all named after the movie. Yeah, and they all follow.
I,
They all loosely follow the storyline of the movies, just
Okay.
expanding on stuff, like or just having, like instead of Luke just buying the droids from the Jawas, he has to go in and rescue them or whatever. It's
Sure,
the same
sure.
in this. Like there's
Yeah.
a whole in the second one. There's a whole what's that flying city called? Cloud City. There's a whole thing where Han's ripping through Cloud City. So
Okay. Well, I assure all of you that reviews of those are coming because I am a fan. These games are fucking sick. I am a fan. The reviews are coming. Tyler, I
man,
appreciate you
and
taking part of your busy Saturday to talk old video games with me again.
oh, no problem. But also, I'm gonna keep saying this every time we talk about Star Wars: is play Force Unleashed.
Right. I mean,
Those
you know what?
games
I
are.
might. There's a couple of games in our community, like Little Nemo the Dream Master, that have just been like
Oh no
carrots.
way!
Yeah, they're just like carrots, just held on the end of a fishing pole. And I'm almost tempted to make Force Unleashed one of those, just because I know how bad some people want it. I'm like, I'll just sit on it for a while. Eventually, when when
No,
people least expect it, then I'll
I
unleash it.
forgot about Little Nemo Dream Master. That was
Yeah,
a normal Nintendo.
it was a normal Nintendo game. It was a good game.
Uh,
It was a good
oh
game.
man, did you ever watch the show?
I didn't know there
It's
was a
based on a
show.
movie, and then what's his name? The Khal Drogo from what's his name? Big Jason Momoa starred in a live action adaptation. It's not like a direct thing, but it's like a
Really?
kind of inspired by on Netflix.
I did not know this. What the fuck? Jeez,
Yeah,
I
yeah,
don't know
yeah.
anything about anything. Fucking
So
racist.
the clown, Jason Momoa plays the clown. What is the clown's name from that?
I don't know.
Someone will know.
That's
Not
crazy.
not Kip. I forget what his name is.
Isn't that the clown from It?
Um, what? No,
Isn't Kip the clown from It? I never saw It. It's
no.
too scary.
Pennywise.
Oh, Pennywise. Right. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, that's too scary for me. I can't do that shit.
Flip.
Um,
Flip is the clown from Little
Okay.
Nemo.
I was close. Flip, Pennywise, almost the same.
Yeah, close
Well,
enough.
yeah, close enough. Well, listen, dude, thank you for doing this. And you have some other wheelings and dealings going on away from old video games. What fuck's the story?
Yeah, I got cast in I'm gonna say a full length film. From these guys, this company called Brimstone Pictures. You can check out their webpage, brimstonepictures.com. So the film's called Contamination. I'll be playing a character named Sagan, who's a former U.S. Navy SEAL lieutenant, retired, electronics expert, demolitions expert, marksman expert, born Topeka. I'm not born from Topeka, Kansas. We rewrote that. I'm from Montana. I couldn't do a Kansas accent.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
they
Yeah.
changed where my
They changed where
character's
you were
from.
from. That's good.
They're
shit.
like, this guy's from Montana for sure.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um,
That's awesome.
but yeah, I play a hardcore character. It's in line with a lot of the film stuff I've done for my buddy Martin with his studio, because we do so much like mill action stuff where
Yeah. Yeah.
as far as like the physicality of the character, I can nail it. Speaking lines makes me really nervous, but super cool.
You'll be fine.
Yeah. So I think you were gonna post their webpage in the episode and then their Facebook group.
Yeah. Yeah. Whatever you send me, I'm putting it in the description of this.
Yeah,
So
everybody should
go there
check
and
it out.
check it out.
Yeah, they're
You can
posting
all.
lots of media on it. We're doing like a lot of the behind the scenes stuff. Like actually tomorrow I'm going to a a class, I guess, a workshop. Workshop would be the way to say it, where
Sick.
we're going to be practicing doing some CQB stuff, all the main cast members. So we're all like a group of mercenaries investigating this mysterious, I don't know, black site. I don't know. We're investigating some mysterious action, and it goes from there, right? So the main core of actors are all, we're all retired Navy SEALs, or some of these guys are ex Green Berets or Delta Force or whatever, what have you,
Yeah,
right?
yeah. I like
So
it.
kind of a motley crew. Very has some like 1980s kind of action movie vibes. Like it's almost like a combination of like The Thing and Predator with a little bit of Aliens, the second Aliens movie vibe to it.
Good
Super
movie.
cool.
Good
Yeah.
movie. I like it. Well, if all of you kind of want to see what Tyler looks like, not now is your chance, but when it comes out, it'll be your chance.
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
check out the description of this podcast and let them know that Remember the Game sent you. I
Yeah,
don't, yeah, I
definitely.
don't,
And I'll send a link to Studio 762 because my buddy Martin's why I got in on this, and
hell
and
yeah.
he's the head of cinematography for this. The director and writer Neil Chase. I've worked with him on a couple of Martin's things, so just kind
Killer.
of neat. Yeah,
I like it, buddy.
yeah.
Good for you. I always knew you'd fucking you'd be a Hollywood movie star someday. Your mustache is just too good. The world needs to see it.
What's
So I
funny
knew.
is I had shaven my mustache off in November to like just give everybody else a chance, and then I just like going against the grain, right?
Yeah,
And
yeah,
then
yeah.
when we went for our first like training thing, there everybody was like, "Whoa, where's the mustache?" I was like, "What do you mean? I shaved it off." They're like, "You have to grow it back for this." I
Oh
was like,
yeah.
"Oh, give me a week."
Yeah, I'll let you know. Like fucking, you're not welcome on this podcast without the mustache.
Oh, okay.
Like we don't want your kind here. So you need to grow that thing back out. That thing's incredible. That thing's like Lanny McDonald levels.
Well, it's halfway there, and we start filming April 12th, so I got a few
You'll be
weeks
fine.
left.
Yeah, you'll
Oh
be
yeah.
fine. It'll be down to your fucking knees by April 12th.
I think I actually have to trim it, and I've been only growing it for 2 weeks.
You're a beast. It takes me like 2 months, and it still looks gross.
No way. Your salt and pepper beard is to die
Oh,
for.
fuck. Yeah, but the mustache part is weak.
Well,
It's weak. Listen, I could sit here and talk facial hair with you all day, but
yeah.
you need to get back to growing that mustache, and I need to actually I have a dog sitting here looking at me that probably needs to go out to poop. So let's all call this an episode and go poop, buddy. Thank you so much for doing this. As always, good talking to you. I'm sure I'll have you back on the show sooner than later.
Awesome. Appreciate it.
That is going to do it for this week's episode. Tyler, thank you so much for giving me a call and talking Super Star Wars. And every one of you nerds listening to this, whether this was your first Remember the Game or maybe your 290th, thank you so much for the support. I appreciate it. If you haven't played this game, check it out. It's fucking really good. And look in the description of this podcast to not only find links to all of Tyler's shenanigans in the movie world, but to find links to our partners over at Ourcade. Get over there right now. Use this week's cheat code, which has to do with a toad from Star Fox. That is very slippy, and it's 6 letters long, and he's very slippy. I hate that frog, or toad, whatever he is. I hate him. But use his name to get yourself some free credits, play some games, win some cash, and get a shot at the Remember the Game leaderboards. Check them out, ourcade.io. What else do I want to plug, Molly? I don't know. Not much. I'm on Twitch. Twitch.tv/Remember the Game. Come by and say hi if you want to. I'm over there playing video games. It's fun. It's free. Leave us a nice review if you didn't hate this episode or didn't hate the show. I like the nice reviews. I'm about to sneeze, and I'm going to try to get through this without sneezing. It's right there now. It's driving me crazy. Leave us a good review. I'd appreciate that. I have a P.O. box. You can find that at rememberthegamepodcast.com. Just shoot me a letter. Let me know where you're listening. I'll write back. And... oh, yeah, I guess Patreon. There's lots of free episodes. You know the plug. I think that's it. I'm going to thank some of those Patreons. I'm going to sneeze. Then I'm going to thank some of those Patreons and get out of here. Thank you all so much for listening, everybody. I will be back tomorrow for all our Patreons with Expansion Pass 204, where we will talk about the gaming franchises that deserve TV shows. Game Patch will go live on Friday. And next week, we're back with a whole other slab of podcasts, including Remember the Game 291, which will actually be about one of the games we just talked about in Play One, Remake One, Erase One an hour ago, The Lion King for the Sega Genesis. We'll talk about that in a week, all right? Take it easy, everybody. Thanks for listening. Talk to you on the next one. Cheers, so long, goodbye. Remember the Game is brought to you by our Patreons. I could not puke up all the content I churn out every week without all of your support. The following people are the senior executive vice president level or higher at patreon.com/rememberthegame, and as such, I am contractually obligated to thank them as quickly as possible. So a huge, in reverse alphabetical order, a huge thank you to Remember the Game Hall of Famer Slick Motherfucking Rick, Zonko 504, Zane Donovan, Zamatos, Zach Shepard, Youngster TK, X Maverick X, Wyatt the Surgeon who's not a surgeon Row, Would You Kindly, Wolf Magic 21, Wolfgang Darren, Wimp 15, Wilco, WestGen, Works For Me, VOS Rager, Tyler Bauer, Tyler, Tunable Power, Triple, Tornado, Tom Houlihan, Toby OP, Titan 420, Timothy Sabrinsky, Timmy the Exuberant Turtle, Thomas Smith, Thomas Childs, this motherfucker, The Supreme Choserizo, Theodore, The Fletchman, The Keegs, Ted Explosion, Tazelhoft, Tadpole, Superjet, Stud Still Smash, Storm Beagle, Steve Dalk, Standard Ass Brian, Squints, Squeak Nuts, Sour Goat Face, Solomon Soto, Scofrito Bandito, Sleeper Hit, Scissorfish, Sharonic, Shoeboxers, Shank the Rat Face Bastard, Scott Brooks, Scary Terry, Sam Carpenter, Sabin, S, Ryan Whitcomb, Ryan Perry, Ryan Kinchin, Rush's Dog Walker, Roger Staubach's Pool Cleaner, Robbie Air, Rated X, Randy Barrage, Radioactive Man, Quiet Place Queen, Put It in H, The Postman, Plow King, Fill Up My Mouth with Farts, Philip Ramsey, Philip Blencher, Pat Phoenix, I get it, because you're Pat. Oroku Saki's Gardener, Nothing Can Possibly Go Wrong, No One Cares, Nick Creature, Nerdy Hybrid, Neil Cooper, Nathan Tremblay, My Left Nut, Musty Beetle, Mr. Papa Giorgio, Morgan, Monstrous D. Boner, Mizuru, Mike Maloney, Mercury 869, Mellow Yellow 8787, Max Saindon, Max Lagroom, Maverick Marty, Matt Zeus, Matt Babineau, Mark Sneed, Marcus Mendoza, Makeshift Mallow Magic Money, Madam Nutsich, Lucas Valadez, Lucas Shawman, Lousy Smarch Weather, Lotus, Lord State Puff, Lord Longrod Von Hugendon II, Liquor Like Luigi, Lil Bunny Fufu 89, Leroy Westrich, Laces Out Dan, Kia Pup, Kevin Monroe, Kach, Justin Blair, Just Car Pranks, Just a Fish, Juris Dr. Mario, Jordan, John of the Adult Children Podcast, Johnny from Virginia, John Woodruff, John M. Watkins, Joe the Sandman, Joe Buck, J Nasty 15, Jay Callahan, Jimothy, Jeff Bergeron, James Juan Francesco, James Clark, a.k.a. Chuckletopia, Jameer Williams, Jake Carter, Isaias, Inhuman Sumo, Itchy Nutsuru, I cancel my Netflix to afford this shout-out, Holmes, Hitchy Poo, High Plains Drifter, Hega Waffle, Guy Who Does Things, Graham Kennedy, Glue Scappin, Gabe, G9PSX, General Fury, Fuzzy99, Frosty Feet 492, Frosty Bear, Franklin Badge, Flitty123, Faded Sufferance, Fallen Snow Kiku, Eric Hopewell, Eric James, E-Man Trucker, Elijah Burns, Elephant Calves, Earl, Drugs are bad, okay, Doug Dorn, Doogie, Donnie the Dude Walter, Diablo Spartan, Devin Collins, Dem Boys on the Roof, Decoy Man, DBXJ, David Schroeder, Dave Thompson, Dave McGee, Darth Skywalter, Darbles. Easy for me to say. Darbles, Daniel, Dan of the Dissect That Film, Dan Fusselman, Confused But Still Here, Colin Bollinger, Cody Thompson, Cody Richardson, Chugger22, Christopher Britt, fuck, I suck at this, Christian Gabriel, Chris Hill, Profits. I like that. Chris Flurry, Chicken Gizzards, Chevy Boy 9211, Chaz Hammond, Cesar, Carbon Fiber Zombie, Captain Steve N, Can't Destroy Her, Cam Nelly 23, Buy Me Bone Storm, Burt Macklin, Bula, Brian Richmond, Brandon DeZeba, Bobby Litton, B Money, Blobby Rogers, Blaine the Hoagie Man, Because 19, Biddy, Big the Cat, Big Daddy Randall, Benjamin Atkins, Beers of War, Beef Dingleberry, Beaver Boy, Bearded Bastard, Atrio Wormwood, A-Town, Archangel Otaku, Angry Ticks, Andy Hudson, Andrew Wright, Andre, Alpha Kenny 1, Alexander Camps, Alex Ramos, Alex R, Alex McIntyre, AJ McCurgy, Adam's former assistant, Adam Martinet, Adam Blank's Terrible Towel, Adam Blank still hasn't reviewed, and then it cut off, but hang on, Adam Blank still has reviewed Chonky Dong, Those Titties, holy fuck, it's a long fucking name, Aaron Lawson, AB Killen, and a dude named Adam. It was going good, but then I kind of fell off the rails there. Thank you all so much for the support, everybody. I am grateful. I appreciate you, and I will talk to you all tomorrow with Expansion Pass. Cheers.